Hello everyone and welcome to the GeoGuessr World League. I'm Toby, I'm joined by Gelotris. And Gelotris, before we get into the nitty gritty of the broadcast here, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing amazing, happy to see you back here, Toby. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, yeah, I've been gone for a little bit, had to take my mandatory once a year vacation, and it was amazing. So fill me in real quickly, what has been happening while I was gone? What were the most memorable moments for you over the last 2 weeks?
The most memorable, don't you have them in every single match in this Pro League, Toby?
So most importantly, I'll make it simple for you. Were there any Denmark rounds in the last 2 weeks?
Oh, you better believe we had some Denmark rounds, and you better believe
that means we won't get any today.
We had some that were missed.
Oh, had I only been here. Had I only been here. But today, should we get Denmark today, we know I'm here. We know I'll help the guys out as much as I possibly can. It's great to be back. We have got some amazing matches coming your way today. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the broadcast. I hope you have a great Sunday wherever you are in the world. It's always great to be here doing some middle of the day broadcasts. It's very unheard of in the bigger esports picture. It's always very late in the evening that I feel like we get to work here. But we are now into week 14. We're almost, I guess, after today, we'll be 2/3 of the way finished. And in just a short moment, we'll get a look at the leaderboard and everything leading into that. But before that, just as always, as with every broadcast, why don't we do our new viewers a favor and explain to them exactly how GeoGuessr works? Please, Gelotris, as a pro yourself, tell us.
Of course, why not? It is pretty much 3 steps as we see it on the graphic. So you get spawned everywhere in the world with Google Street View image coverage. Then, after that, you will look around. As we see on this image, we are in a valley. We look around. We have white lines here, which looks a bit weird, given that everything else does not look like there should be white lines here. It could be Argentina, though. But yeah, that's up to you. You have to put a guess down on the map where you think it is. And after that, you will get a score. And based on the distance to the actual location, you will deal damage to your opponent.
Yep. It is the art of reduction, the art of having seen so many locations in the world that you know exactly where you are. But of course, these are not just your average players, they are the pros, and therefore we need to make different game modes to challenge them as best as we can. And as you can see here, we play in 3 different modes. The first game that is played is Move. It's literally do whatever you want. You can move up and down the streets, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can spin the mouse around as much as you see fit. Pretty straightforward. Into the second game mode though, No Move, or NM. No Move is, as it says on screen, you can spin your mouse around, you can zoom in and out, but you are stuck in place. And then into the third one. Should we get there, NMPC. No move, no pan, no zoom, meaning you're effectively just getting one still image for you to look at, making it definitely the hardest game mode played in the World League. But also, and I think Gelotris will agree with me on this, one of the more exciting game modes to watch. But of course, Gelotris, a game is not a professional game without a point system, so explain to us how this works.
Exactly. So, as we see on the left, if the match ends up in a 2-1 fashion, the blue player will get 2 points here, and the red player will get 1 point. However, if you manage to get the match done without losing a single game, you will get an extra point, which makes it 3.
Exactly. And of course, as we said in the beginning of the show, we are in week 14, meaning that we've been on this one for quite a while already. And as you can see here, this is what the leaderboard currently looks like. Of course, there are still 7 weeks, make that 8 with this one, weeks left of play in this tournament. So it's all far from done. But already now, Gelotris, we're starting to see some pretty good outlines of who's in the top and who's in the bottom. And when you just quickly for some of the newer viewers out here, who are maybe to you, if we look at the leaderboard, like if the tournament was done right now, what would you say were some of the bigger surprises to you looking at this?
If it was done now, actually I would say this pretty much already represents how I would have predicted it. A really strong player I see in place 20 V89. I feel like Kastrola is a very strong player. However, this format where you also have to be very strong on moving is maybe the reason why he got pushed back a little bit here. But besides that, I don't really see huge surprises. I mean, Fao is someone I did expect to also maybe get back into the tops, because Fao, we have seen him in the World Cup 23 as well. He's a very strong player, very well-rounded player as well. He's good in every mode. So I know you asked me this another time where I said Trishta doesn't belong to B down there, and he actually made it up to in the top 9. So yeah, I think I could see that being the same with Fao.
Yep. And now, with that done, let's take a look at the games we're broadcasting today. And oh my god, do we have some exciting matches for you. Starting off with Finbarr versus Zigzag, then into Eamonn versus Harrier. Then we hop on over to the second slot on the day, get Zigzag again versus Captain, and then Pan versus Fenip. Then into the later in the day, you can see how the games come in. We get some Lendli action in there as well. I know he has a lot of viewers in the chat that want to support him. Spaget, I think, has got himself a lot of fans over the last couple of weeks in the Western community as well. So some really, really interesting matches coming your way today. What about these ones? Any particular matches here, Jotrish, that you're specifically looking forward to?
Yes, without a doubt, without even thinking about it, we are starting off with Finbarr versus Zigzag, and also Eamonn versus Harrier. We have two friends matchup. I mean, Finbarr and Zigzag are very, very close friends. You have the same with Eamonn and Harrier, and to start off the day with those two matches is very exciting.
It's definitely gonna be. It's definitely gonna be a good time. We're gonna get into the first match in just a short moment, and it's exciting to be back. It's fun to be here. Of course, these guys, they're playing for a seat at the World Cup finals. It could not be any bigger. We got the regionals announced. I feel like, I mean, obviously you've been in the game for a long time. Looking at where we are with the World League being played right now, we already have the regional finals or regional majors announced, and now we know the World Cup as well. How does it feel being part of this space, being part of this scene as a pro player?
I mean, it's amazing, especially for this year. I mean, it was always, or not always, but since World Cup 23, you always thought, okay, there's this World Cup once a year you're looking forward to. But now there's so much more. We have the Pro League every single Sunday. We have the majors being played with an audience as well. It's just growing so quick, and it's getting to a scale where it still feels a bit unreal. But yeah, I'm slowly getting used to it.
And it's only gonna get bigger, it's only gonna get better. And first off, we're gonna take a look here. Finbarr and Zigzag, you can see the stats on screen. Pretty similar overall. I will say though, Finbarr, 40 seconds an average in guessing. That has gotta be one of the highest averages that we have in the league at all, I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I know Finbarr is someone who is really going into detail when making a guess. He's really looking at the car, at the antenna, at the copyright. He's checking out the road quality, the terrain. He's taking everything into consideration. Whereas Zigzag is more as a vibe guesser who just plonks down his guesses immediately, usually.
When it feels good, he goes for it, and what better than getting to start off close to home? He's going down to Tasmania early on, very eastern side as well. Does he maybe know exactly where we are here?
This could be possible. We had those polls with the possum gods, which we just saw on Finbar's screen, which is very, very common in Tasmania. We have.
Remember, guys, it can be a bait if it's a fairy sign. It doesn't mean you're there. It could be that the fairy is going there, but oh wow, a lot of info available for Zigzag here.
Definitely, with this information on Zigzag's screen, makes it very easy for him to get close. Finbar's still scanning though. Gets the right coast side.
Great beginning for Zigzag. I mean, of course, if you both know that you're on Tasmania, then you can only be so far away from the target. But also, I should say, we are live. The game is on now. We didn't really get to intro the match because we were talking about something else. But here we are. It's best of threes. We're in game number 1. It's moving. As you can see, they're flying up and down the street to try and, as quickly as possible, pinpoint their exact location.
That's what we do, and we are in an urban environment which looks like Chile to me. We have those long plates, a couple of yellow plates as well, which you see from time to time in Chile. I think it's commercial use vehicles or taxis. Not too sure, but you see them from time to time.
I'm not sure if it's only us not having the game audio on now. But if it's you guys as well, then know that it is in fact being worked on. It could also just be me that has pressed the wrong button or something that don't have it. But no, not quite the 5K, but Finbarr got close enough. And that was on a plunk on the city as well. That was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I'm surprised about Zigzag's guess. Did he open the map too late, maybe? Because if you are in an urban environment like that, you don't consider clicking outside. So maybe he was under time pressure there and just plunked somewhere near the city.
Let's see, into round 3 we go. As you can see on the top right, the damage multipliers increase with every round. So the further away you are in the later rounds, the more it's gonna hurt. As we now go towards the east, let's see if Finbarr gets some early info here.
Yeah, we are somewhere in Russia, given the language. Interesting to also have it in Latin written on the sign. That could be maybe a regional thing, and we all do know Finbarr is great at guessing Russia. He knows a lot of these small clues. Again, looks like a somewhat bigger city. We have a railroad going through it, which might also help to rule out a couple cities.
Yeah. I mean, when you literally write a 150-page document on how to guess Russia, you'd have to feel like Finbarr has the upper hand, but they both take the maximum time. There's quite a distance in between them, and it's actually going to be Zigzag out victorious. And this one, you can see, 2,500 damage, a pretty decent chunk. Good for Finbarr that it wasn't later down the line, because that could have easily been him down and out.
Definitely, Zigzag does pick up good points here, and he's happy to do that, especially on Russia, where you always feel a little bit of extra pressure playing against Finbarr. And I don't know if Finbarr got baited by the truck. He saw something on the truck and made a guess based on that. It could travel. It could travel. And we have Perugia on the sign here, which is in central north Italy. Like north of the Italy label is Perugia, pretty central. I don't know why we have it on the sign here. Well, it is right on the label.
Finbarr going, it could be south, it could be north, I'm going to go right in the middle. And with that, with Zigzag once again being closer, that now takes Finbarr down to under 1,000 health. Zigzag, despite being the one to take damage early on, has really struck back hard. And now Finbarr sits in a pretty dangerous position.
Definitely, definitely. And he tries to put that pressure on.
Finbarr hasn't even started his engine. Zigzag just insta-guessing the hard north. There's a lot of distance in between the two here. This should be game, and it will be. Zigzag, what did you know?
He is absolutely locked in.
Wow.
Didn't do any real mistakes here in this game at all, and was right on point.
Also, just the speed of which he played. I mean, he instantly zoomed in there in the northern side. Of course, I mean, we know Zigzag, he is a giga grinder. He sits every day, plays hours on end. And I guess the more you play, the bigger the odds are that you find a road you've been on before, or city that you've been in. Because that was a very, very quick guess. He must have known something there.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, we had a coastline, I think. And I also think these poles we had are way more common in the north. I don't know if Finbarr did not see them or doesn't know it. Could be possible. I do doubt it though.
It's a rare Taiwan round 1 round. Is this where they both go for the 10K? Because we know it's going to be like 60 damage no matter where they put their markers down.
10K.
Come on, guys, go for the 10K. Give it to us. Oh no, they're just going to put it in the middle.
Way too many roads looking like this in Taiwan. Where you drive through the mountains. Really, not many distinct looking roads in Taiwan, I must say.
Yeah. 180 damage done is all that it could muster. Not too much to do there. But again, of course, we have gone into game number 2, so it is no move. And here you can see the prediction based on guesses in this country. This is a new statistic that we're getting in the game. So according to prediction, that would leave Finbarr closer, I think is how I read this one.
Yes, Finbarr had a higher score than Zigzag on average in this country, which is Chile. We are somewhere on a dirt road, looking quite deserty.
Yes.
So
it's actually kind of terrifying. His prediction was like 4,700, and Zigzag was 4,300 and they were almost on point. Yeah. Is this rigged?
Is this
make
sense after
is that
all.
What's going on?
It does make sense after all. And look where we are now. We are back in the Philippines. Where
Here we go.
had
Prediction
Zigzag
time once again.
Closing out the game earlier. But this time on no move. We have a trike which you can use to make a region guess in the Philippines. Usually if the roofs are a bit higher up towards the driver's side compared to the passenger side, that leads you more to the north. Doesn't always work, especially with that many palms. It looks a bit more...
It's funny, I've never cast the GeoGuessr without the in-game audio. I always thought the in-game audio kind of reminded me of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know? Kind of the kind of putting the extra stress factor in. It's almost calm. I mean, for us it is. I mean, no, they're obviously very pressured. It's almost kind of calm seeing these guys stress for dear life, try to get the guesses in as we do get the login on the Philippines, and once again it's Zigzag, just like in the previous game, out here swinging big, 2,300 damage done, disproving the statistics and hitting Finbarr hard.
Definitely, and yeah, I don't know if Finbarr got maybe gaslit by something, because I know Finbarr knows that these trikes are more common in the north, but you can see them in the south as well. He went against the odds, but it didn't come in his favor. As we move on to this round, I might have to take an extra look here. Double yellow lines, which could be Taiwan then, yeah, especially with the motorbike in the distance. The car checks out, the double yellow does check out, the amount of palm trees do check out.
2 Taiwans in 3 and 4 rounds make that. That's a rarity.
Yeah, not something you see every day. Definitely not. And
also, I feel like it's been a while in general since we've been to Taiwan. Ooh, Finbarr is going Malaysia. This is going to be huge. And it is. Oh, you can see instantly, hands to the face. He knows it. And that is a swift 2-0 for Zigzag and Finbarr. He's... Wow.
Now, he is not happy at all.
That's frustrating.
But to be fair, Zigzag pretty much played flawlessly. He was always on point. Really locked in today.
Yeah.
Starting off the game this strong. Very impressive stuff. And it was a way quicker game than expected.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Finbarr never really got any hits. And he had a little bit of damage in the moving game against Zigzag. And then minor. This one never brought him down underneath 5k. I mean, he was just playing incredibly well, Zigzag. I looked at the times of them, and I knew that, and I should say I know, that's over the last couple of weeks, Zigzag has started playing a lot faster, and with Finbarr's average guessing time being over 40 seconds, you have to imagine that the pressure Zigzag was putting onto Finbarr just didn't give him enough time to get through.
Yeah, there are a lot of different approaches how you can get at this game, how you can improve at this game. And Zigzag definitely loves to just spam a lot of games, get your vibes down, and it definitely did pay off in this case, because he always had the right vibe immediately.
Yeah. Incredible start here for Zigzag. And the good thing for Finbarr is that he will get a chance to go again a little later today. We'll cast him in the last slot of today's games. But now we're headed over to match number 2 of the day. It's going to be Eamonn versus Harrier, a matchup that I'm excited for. We've heard from both of them before. We've had the pleasure of casting them both before. Who do you give the upper hand in this matchup, Silotus?
This is, I would say, a very even matchup, first off, to start off. But Harrier has been putting in the work. It is insane to me how much he grinded. I would say, at least, of course, it's not always public. You never know how much these players practice and what they practice. But from what I've seen, there's no one getting even close to the amount of work Harrier did put in to this game lately. He has been doing quizzes, he has been doing challenges, he has been reading the guides. He's just doing everything that helps. And here we have the statistics for Eamonn and the ones for Harrier as well.
A man on a mission, Harrier. Is always humble, always nice to talk to, but he's going up against a dangerous New Zealander who has been playing pretty well himself. They're very, very even in their guessing time, their precision as well. As you can see, Harrier, 10%, I should say, over the top in win rate. But outside of that, I mean, their play styles, I feel like, run pretty similarly. What do you see? Do you have any one of them with upper hand in any specific types of the play style or any areas?
I do agree. These sets look similar, but it seems like Harrier was just always right when he had to be right to close out the games. I mean, almost 60% win rate is very high. Based on their play style, again, I would say it is very similar. Both very decent at moving, but not moving mains. I would say they are both more no-move players. I think that's the game mode they both prefer the most.
Instantly sends it down to Adelaide. We've been down there quite a few times recently. Harrier lining up the road now as well with the compass, going straight south to north. Let's see if he can find something. He's in the same proximity, so damage shouldn't be too big. And no, indeed it won't be. Good location for both, but it's going to be Eamonn to hit home first.
Yeah, pretty good guesses. And for the viewers out there who don't know, how did they both end up in South Australia? We had some South Australian specific polls. And what do we have here? It's a turkey round.
A little bit of an upper hand.
It's a turkey round. We have Gölpazar on the sign. It's northwest. I think Gölpazar is pretty
Give
close
us a
to the
GeoGuessr
big
5K,
lakes.
I'm ready.
Yeah. It is findable, but don't expect it. We have good signs from Harrier here. What does it
Statistically,
say?
Harrier has been better in guessing turkey. We'll see if that's going to come to be or not.
Yellow
Also,
trash
for
bins.
viewers tuning in late, we can just quickly say that it is being worked on getting the in-game audio back. So fear not. Our lovely technicians are working on it as swiftly as can be. We'll keep you updated. Or maybe audio will just come back and then that'll be the update in itself.
Hopefully. I mean, for now, they are both pretty close. I think it's in the Bilecik province, so it's like a bit more north of Harrier. There it is. As I said, it is very visible. You see it there, Gölpazar. They quite didn't see it though, but they got the right vibes for that region of the country.
See, into round 3 we go. Even in health so far. Good thing they can move around here because there ain't a whole lot of info available. We know we're in the States based on the green street signs, the big red stop signs, and everything around there. But Bowden Mobile Home Park, I don't think I could find it on a map.
Nope. I would also spend quite the time to find that one on the map.
If you were committed, if you really had a lot of time on your hands, maybe. Ooh, there's a good sign on the other side. Maybe, no, Red Lodge.
Well, it's saying Alberta Park, so you would assume you are close to these mountains west of Calgary. In Alberta, we also have the Alberta specific polls here.
I was already wrong. I started by saying we were in the US.
Well, it's always, you always say if you say we are in the Americas, you cover a bit more.
Ah, there you go. We're on planet Earth, guys.
That as well.
If I start every broadcast with that, then I'm never gonna be wrong. Time is up. They both got into the right country, and oh wow, Eamonn even found the city.
Yeah, he's right on it. It was on the more northern side of Calgary. Harrier may be getting a bit too close to the mountains because I don't think we saw them on the location. And we should be in Germany here by the looks.
I'm just not going to confirm anything until I see the Danish flag.
Celle is a pretty big country. It's central north. Definitely, again, a city which is findable if you scan enough. Bit more north than where Harrier guessed again.
Let's see.
Eamonn got the signs as well. He is committing. Yeah, he got Celle. It's right there above Hannover. Oh, Harrier's also on it.
Yep. Just on the northern side, so minimal damage will come through here as they both get close to the right location. It's they've been very blessed with really good intel within the spawn point. Usually, I mean, it's oftentimes some of these locations in these maps are very, very limited or limiting in info that you can get that's useful. Did I see a Cambodian flag just then? I think I might have, or maybe I don't know, wrong.
You might have, given the fact that we are in Cambodia.
That would definitely be great.
It's very likely to see their flag hanging around. We are in a very urban environment. Can be quite hard sometimes to get the right information, especially in Cambodia, but we have a non-pan guess from Harrier. Don't really see where Eamonn guess was, but also around the capital, yeah.
Yeah, when in doubt, go capital. They can both wave at each other from the big city. I love that they do these things, like small gestures to your fellow players. You know what I hope? I hope that when we get to the regionals, when we get to the World Cup, that they take what they do in emotes into real life. So if they're both off by a part, when they're sat face to face, they just start waving over the computer screens to each other, going, "Hi, are you also in the big city?" That'd be hilarious.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that one.
From one smaller country to a definite small one, as we go to Matilda Something's Road. Not sure they're going to find that exact location, but into Netherlands they go nonetheless.
Nope, especially in the suburbs of the Netherlands, I never know where to guess. It's always good to click middle because it can be anywhere in the country.
And everyone's called Matilda anyway, so it's going to be really hard. There's a lot of them.
That's true.
This is just me memeing. I don't even know. I think I know 2 people that are female from Netherlands, and one of them is called Matilda. So that's 50% of everyone.
That's a pretty high rate.
Yep.
But
from urban locations, we now go very rural. And what are we seeing? Is it another Oman round? Maybe. Yeah, Harrier is going there.
Indeed, Oman. And we don't see any mountains at all. Never mind. I think we saw some on Eamonn's screen to the north there.
Very far distance, yeah.
So yeah, maybe we are south of the mountains. The mountains go along the north, and then you have some very far south.
If you only have 720p broadcast resolution, you can't actually see those mountains. But if you have 1080, they're actually visible on screen production. Did you know that? Yeah.
Hey, who would run around? Who would cast with 720p?
If you know, you know. We're headed into round number 8 now. It's been a close game, this one. There's only 2 rounds left after this one as we get. It's not Ghana tape, but definitely a specific type vehicle that sends us to.
Very similar one. We are in Guatemala. I was struggling with the cars in the beginning when I started out.
What is Eamonn frustrated over? You can see, look at his face. He's like, oh, what is he frustrated about?
I think his
map did his game freeze?
Probably, because I don't see him panning the map at all.
Did his game freeze?
His game might have frozen. I am not sure, but there's definitely something. Don't know if it's client-sided, because Harrier is still...
Yeah. He's moving around
smoothly,
still, so and it's not his internet connection, because he... I mean, again, of course, don't worry, guys. We do have admins working these games, so I'm sure they'll figure out what's happening. I'm not sure if this round will then go to him, because there was no guess come through. And you can see Harrier, he's like, wait, what? He didn't guess?
I think Harrier thought that Eamonn 5K'd. I'm pretty sure he thought Eamonn 5K'd, because
the change of reaction from, oh my god, he beat me, to, wait, what? He's so confused.
He was disappointed. He was mad. I thought, oh no, he got the right road and I'm all the way up here. But
and we're laughing, and meanwhile, Eamonn is frustrated. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what the fix is going to be, but as you can see, we are going to pause for a second while we get everything working on Eamonn's side of things. It might just be that since we're this late into the game, they can't go in and reset the round. So we'll have to wait for a second while they fix it. But you know what? In the meantime, because we don't know how long this is going to take, Gelotris, since we changed the broadcast delay, there is actually a world where we can now take questions from chat every time we get a delay in the broadcast. So chat, if there's anything you want to ask, maybe not me, because I'm not an expert in this game the same way Gelotris is, but if there's one thing you've always wondered, maybe now is your chance to quiz Gelotris, who is sat here virtually next to me, on what's going on. So I'm looking at chat right now. I'm waiting for your questions to come through, and we'll pick a few of them. We can say, you know what, you pick one, Gelotris, and I'll pick one. You can pick the first one if you have chat open as well.
Of course. Why not? Let's see. I have the chat open as well. What does Gelotris mean?
What does it mean?
Not a lot of people know that actually. It's actually just a few.
Story time.
I've mentioned it maybe 1 or 2 times in my stream. So not that often.
Go for it.
But yeah, let's get it out there. It was, at the time, I was playing 3 games mainly. It was GE for GeoGuessr. Then it was League of Legends, LOL.
Okay.
That was the LO. And then we have the Triss. What could that be, Toby?
Tournament Racing Instant Simulator.
You are very close. However, it's Tetris.
Oh, Tetris.
I've played a lot of Tetris on Tetrio. Yeah, that was like pretty much the 3 games I've played the most at that time. And you know what? That's how I came up with the name.
Wait, so if I was to build my nickname based... Wait, how long ago was this? How long ago was this, Georges? That you made your Gelotris name?
Oh, that was in 2020? 5 years?
So in 2020, my name would have been... Kawalol. Kawalol?
Okay. I mean, World of Warcraft was the WoW thing?
Yeah.
Is it a CA or KA in the beginning?
Oh, actually, it would have been more than that. It would have been Kawalol Battlegrounds.
Well, okay, the Battlegrounds should be obvious. would be quite a long name. However, Crash Bandicoot. You are definitely playing Crash Bandicoot.
No, it's actually. Well, if we only take that, it won't be Co.
Oh, it's Co.
Yeah.
Co. Game with Co. Is it a popular game?
It definitely is. Arguably one of the biggest esports in the world.
Okay, then should be easy.
Yeah, they shoot guns and stuff.
Oh my gosh, Counter-Strike. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. You got it there in the end.
That makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
This is amazing. We're vibing with this so hard. We should just make a. Should we do like? So on Sundays we have the Pro League, and on Saturdays we have Toby and Gelotris just talk about random stuff with chat the whole day.
Definitely. Hey, we could fill in the 4 hours until the evening slots start with those.
Yeah.
Let's.
By the way, chat. By the way, we have a information for you that, as a matter of fact, they are gonna remake the entire game. So even though we went into round 8, they're going to go back. And you know what? I think it's actually kind of nice because had it been one player with 5,800 health and the other had only 20 left, then that's one thing. But they were both set above 5 or close to 5k coming into round 8. So arguments could be made that they were set. I mean, and even if they're 600-700 points apart, when it's that late in the game, the multipliers are so high anyway that they're pretty much even. I mean, they're effectively even in score. So, as far as what I've been told, they're going to remake the whole game. And I guess that just means that we have a potential 18-round moving game.
Hey, I mean, we had a very quick first game, so we can't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
To get a little bit more games in here.
Exactly. So we are going to remake.
It was very even.
We see them here on screen again. I wish if we had a replay operator on air. I just want the full Harrier face of going... Oh, I got beat to 1,900 or 19,000 damage. Wait, what? The instant change of emotion was amazing.
Quite the fair reaction. Let's see. I mean,
that was funny.
They're also
you know
friends,
what,
as I already mentioned earlier. So I think none of them will complain about the restart.
They want. You know, they're playing this league for so long. They want a. When it's two bros going up against each other, they want a fair battlegrounds to be able to battle one another. And as fair as can be, here we go. Once again, we're back, restarting game number 1.
We do restart. We are, again, in the moving game, as we had earlier. This time, Eamonn is also able to pan, to move. So I hope everything is fixed on this side. We are in Australia here. Driving on the left, those double white lines you see from time to time here and there. And we have some signs here, not really helpful ones, I think. Hardcore is 23 away, and Mandurana, not really towns I'm familiar with, but it seems like Harrier also doesn't really know. He's trying to get a vibe down, so he knows in which region to scan. It seems like they are both just northwest of the capital, Canberra, in New South Wales.
I like how they both just stopped in this intersection and were like, you know what? I'm not going to get any more info. That road is dead and empty. The other road is dead and empty. Yeah. And here we go, starting things off with Harrier, taking a pretty decent-sized chunk of health off of Eamonn's health bar, considering that it's round number 1 and they were actually in the same part of Australia. The country is just that big.
It is, and I don't really know if that's the right approach in Australia, because I feel like soon as you exit a town, in Australia, you usually have a bigger town sign very close by, but yeah, it wasn't really inside, so sometimes it does make more sense to just scan around and hope to be lucky to find any of those place names we had. And now we are in some mountains. It should be Canada by the looks. And I don't know if we are on the Alberta side or on the British Columbia side. Well, now with that sign, it should be Alberta. We have the 403 area code thing.
It always impresses me how much info a professional GeoGuessr player has to store in their brain, which they might never use for anything.
Yep.
But then the one situation where you get that location, it has just instantly come to mind because they're on the clock. And as you can see here, Harrier making good use of it. Good hit once again, 1100 damage onto Eamonn. We reset the game, but we might not even have had to, because Harrier is making a pretty quick deal of this fight.
Definitely, and that's where it's coming in clutch. That Harrier has practiced a lot of these area codes and stuff. And that did help here to decide on which side of the border we are, whether we are in British Columbia or Alberta. And we move on to this round, which again looks like the Americas. Hey, we have learned from earlier.
There you go, Americas.
We say Americas.
I see what you did there.
605 area code there. Is
Canada once again? Nope, South Dakota.
It should be in the US. I don't think 605 is in Canada.
Eamonn going into... Eamonn locks in first, but now shaking his hand to the head as well. Not seeming too confident with the guess that he just put in, maybe.
He's looking on that tank. Usually you will find a town name on it.
Did you see something late? I mean, I'm not sure. 164 kilometers off in this type of game is pretty decent. The issue is Harrier closer once again. Maybe he got something that could have had him even closer to the spot. I'm not quite sure.
I am not sure either, but what I am sure about is that this is Peru. We have those mile markers, the striped signposts. There's some information there. Very difficult to make a guess here, because we have mountains on both sides, and it's green. We just see more towards inland, but along the stretch of the whole country as well, most of the time. Not that much greeneries in the south, though. It's more a common thing in the north, especially around Tarapoto. And if we have mountains on both sides, I think guessing around Tarapoto makes the most sense, because that's where you get those valleys with mountains on each side. I don't know if it's north or south of Tarapoto.
It is running it all the way to the end, but it's Harrier once again out victorious so far. A flawless performance here in the remake of game number 1, as Eamonn now sits at just over half health coming into round number 5. And again, of course, chat, as we know, there is some audio issues, so we don't have the in-game audio working right now, but it is being worked on. So fear not, everyone. It'll hopefully get fixed. Even if it doesn't, just know that it's being worked on to be fixed.
Yeah. We had to sacrifice the game audio to get those statistics in.
That's what it was.
Cannot complain about.
Yeah, you only get one, both. Guys. If you want more stats, you lose the webcams. That's how it works. We can only have 3 things at a time.
Yep. And we have some
the limitations of the internet.
California road lines here, and it looks pretty deserty, mountainous. So we should be somewhere along, that stretch.
Wow. I mean, Harrier is
right on it, on the right road.
against most other opponents, Eamonn would have been having himself a pretty good game so far, but Harrier has just played absolutely incredibly thus far as we once again go west. But whereabouts are we?
Yeah, we are in Panama and we have this vertical, horizontal sticker on the pole, which means we are somewhere west of the capital of Panama City, because anything in Panama City and east of it will have a vertical sticker. And if you see a horizontal yellow sticker on the poles, you are more towards the west of the country, which you see here, the yellow sticker I was talking about on Eamonn's screen. That does help to rule out the east pretty much.
They both have pretty much the same info so far. They've gone up the same road. Harrier is a bit further ahead now, getting, obviously Panama, literally in writing. That helps you in case you were wondering which country you're in, but he has a lot more info available now to him. Yeah,
there's a lot of information. I can't really get out where the needed one is. It's pretty small, but Harrier again in the right area, but Eamonn is always there with the right vibes, but just not getting close enough to deal some damage back. And now we are in Indonesia.
Oh, we got a prediction going.
Some predictions. Seems like Eamonn has the upper hand in Indonesia.
Even if it's only 200 points worth of upper hand, Eamonn needs everything he can get going his way, and so far, well, at least he's the first one to lock it in. We'll see if he feels good about his guess here. There's a lot of info potentially up on that gateway to the city, I would imagine. As now Harrier getting in towards Medan, a bit east thereof, and it is going to be him closer once again. He even looked surprised that Eamonn looked happy with it initially, but Harrier just cannot be touched. It's into round 8, and Harrier has not lost a single round. That goes to show how hard Eamonn has been fighting to lose or to not fall out on this.
Definitely.
Insane.
We had North Sumatra specific polls there. But after that, you still have to guess within North Sumatra, which isn't too easy most of the times. And we are in round 8 here. We have some French language on the sign. A couple of wineries. Also interesting to see. You see that more towards the south, southeast, southwest. But this
that sign did not say Vienna, guys. Don't feel baited.
I mean, by the looks, if you ignore a lot of things, I could see a Vienna here. If you ignore a lot of things.
If you ignore the country, the lack of mountains, if you just close your eyes, it could look like Vienna. Yeah. I agree.
That it does work, but yeah, we should be somewhere in France. And as I said, with those wineries, we have a 04 area code as well, which is southeast.
I mean,
just outside Lyon, and Harrier is untouchable right now.
I feel so bad for Eamonn. He's within 30, like 50 kilometers on almost all his guesses, but Harrier is just absolutely dialed in right now. It's completely insane. Round 9, Eamonn needs Harrier to make the biggest mistake of his life in order to have a chance at making this. Are we going into a round 10 win with Harrier at 6k? I cannot recall having ever seen that before. Because usually when it's a flawless game, it's done way earlier.
Yep. We had a lot of rounds where the rough area was easy to get. A lot of times we had good clues to get the regions. And would you look at that. Finally striking back a little bit. Good for the mental.
And now we get the Russia round where he wins it.
We are on the final round. And Eamonn somehow has to get 5,730 damage.
Wow.
Done.
Is it possible here with this location? He's got to go all in on this. Just insta-guess it.
It is exactly. Germany, but
YOLO, my friend.
I think if you click middle, and it isn't somewhere on the right border of the country, and I don't think it is. Yeah, Harrier won.
Go for the west area. Make it interesting for the viewers. Now he's gonna hedge it.
This is not gonna be far north, and this is also not gonna be far south.
And he's gonna be closer with it too.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll almost give it to Harrier. That one was pretty much flawless.
Yeah.
Round 10 win with 5.7k health. You know what? We gave him the remake, but holy smokes, what a performance from Harrier in that moving game.
Yeah, very, very strong. I mean, not much Eamonn can do. I would say Eamonn did play pretty strong, but Harrier was just on it. And we have some information here. Let me read it.
Okay, humble brag. Oh, let me just read what that says.
Well, I couldn't make it in time. I always go letter by letter. Takes a little bit.
Especially when there's so many of them. Doesn't make it any easier. Free internet if you subscribe on Twitch. That's what I heard. Oh, wait, what?
Could be Sanimgan. I forgot how that district was named.
And there you go. Eamonn.
Oh, it was Eamonn's. Okay.
The better way this time around. 58 damage. Not a whole lot, but bragging rights going his way. At least he's ahead now. We'll see if he can keep it up all the way through this no-move game. Oh, wow.
We're in South Africa. Good thing
what sent you to South Africa?
See that the signs are on the left, so we know we are in a left-drive country. And these red and white chevrons, you wouldn't see them in Australia, which is another country you would consider with driving left. And also in Australia, you get diamond signs, like the yellow, American-looking signs. You get them more in the Americas, the yellow and the diamond signs. But yeah, with that given, we know we can rule out Australia, so we should be in South Africa. But besides that, not very much to work with. I could this being northeast, but this could also be somewhere inland. And that's also the split they have. But it was indeed northeast.
There we go. Eamonn closer once again.
Yeah.
And he got this one in the last round. Yeah, exactly. And he got this one in the last round of the previous game. Then he would have won it. But not quite to be. At least this time around, he's up by almost double the health coming into round number 3.
Yep, that is a very good lead. And we get the predictions in. Let me get the country first here. We have, look at that. I thought of Spain, Italy. But with this guardrail, this road, this leads me more towards Italy.
This can't be Italy, because I'm not seeing a Fiat Punto coming down this road with 100 kilometers an hour.
Well, I assume if we get right around the corner, if we go right around the corner, I could imagine there being one. This is an interesting valley. Yes, is it the Po Valley in the north? I don't think so. I don't think so, but yeah, could be some inland valley. But a valley this big?
It's pretty cool that
it doesn't
so high
look
up,
alpine
and
as
it
well.
just looks flat as far as you can see. We'll see. Time is up.
It was
time is out, and Eamonn is on point once again. They have completely flipped the script on this one, and now into round 4. Harrier is just sitting above 1100 health. You can see him talking to himself, chanting some, come on, man, you can do this. You just played such a good game. Don't give Eamonn the flawless in return now.
No, he does not want that, and we have an Argentinian plate there on that car with the black dot on it, which makes getting the country here pretty easy, because without it, you would need to think a little bit about it, I guess. But good thing we have that car to help us out. Now with the country given, it looks like the western side. It is pretty dry, at least the soil. And we have some what we call Mendoza trees, because these trees are very common in Mendoza. But you can definitely also find them further north in the country. Which I don't think those are poplar trees. But they look like them, so I will call them poplar trees.
There you go. Letting it run all the way down to the end.
I hope they are not mad at me.
I don't think they will be. Let's see who's going to get it this time around. Finally, Harrier able to strike home. It was looking like a flawless win for Eamonn, but not quite the case. Could still be a win, but it's not done just yet. Harrier able to strike back, sending Eamonn down 1300 health. And now, coming into round 5, we go back towards the, I was going to say, are we back in Panama again?
You are right with it. We are in Panama And this one is quite close to bigger-ish mountains, which you see a lot in the north, but not only. I would say Panama is pretty difficult to guess based on the terrain you have around you, because you have a lot of like small mountain ridges, big mountain ridges here and there.
So we get double Taiwan in the previous game, and then we get Guatemala into double Panama here, and Harrier now sat with just 24 health left in this one. Eamonn wants to tie it up. He wants to go into NMPC, and it could happen right here, because info is very scarce here now.
Eamonn clicked in the middle of the mountains. I think if you went just a little bit further south, where you actually have those roads,
a pixel closer,
you
he would have
could
been
have closed it out. Let's hope he's still locked in and not mad about that.
Considering
looks like we
France,
are in
what
France,
are you thinking here?
Especially with that low sign that we have here, just standing there, right next to the tree. We have Eamonn looking on it.
Are you feeling like 100% that we're in France?
99.
Okay, Harrier is there with you, going down towards the southwest. Eamonn still yet to log in. Got another 5 seconds to consider. I mean, he can be 2 meters off and still end up doing more than 24 damage. They're almost like almost on top of one another. Let's see who's gonna get it. Oh, it's gonna be Eamonn by a bit.
Other side, but is that enough? It will be.
It is. 13 kilometers was all that he needed to bring this one home, and now we go into NMPC. What a turnaround! I thought with how great Harrier played in that previous one, he was just gonna swiftly 2-0 this. But Eamonn, I mean, he fought. That's what we were saying. Even in the moving round that he lost, he was so good with his guesses. Harrier was just that much better. But this time around, a few slip-ups from Harrier, and Eamonn playing incredibly well, sends him into first, and now we're in NMPC.
We are indeed in NMPC. This looks interesting. I could see a Greece. I could see a Italy.
Yeah?
The road looks...
But Mediterranean.
Yeah, definitely. That's my vibe. Could be even on Sardinia or something. But
remember, guys, this is all they get, a still image, and then they can move their faces closer to the screen if they want to zoom. We have
a Turkey guess from Eamonn.
Okay. Still Mediterranean.
I can't really make out the pavement because there's a lot of sand over it, but still on the side you can see that's not really the typical Turkish pavement you get. We don't really have the sprinkles on it. Therefore, I did lean more towards Greece, Italy.
Eamonn is jumping back and forth. He's considering hedging this, I think. Just jumping straight into the water, saying, I'm not going to win this, but at least I won't lose that much, regardless of whether it's one side or the other. They are on each their side of the water, and it's actually not the Mediterranean, and it's the Black Sea.
Well, with water south, you don't really think of the east coast in Bulgaria, but you have some angles where you look south towards the water there, which we had all the way there on the north. But in hindsight, that pavement really, really looked Bulgarian, I can't lie.
Yeah.
But didn't really think of it given the looks around it.
Eamonn sends it straight to Scotland, at least initially. Are you liking the vibe, the hunch up here?
Yeah, it looks quite more northern, but it's only one building to make that guess based on, really. And if you trust the building, it does look a bit more northern rather than southern. In the UK, we have a northern island. Plonk? No, he's actually an island.
I thought it was France for a second, but that's why I'm not a professional player. They're on each their side.
Well, I don't think we have blue stripes on the plate.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I can't tell where the steering wheel is in the car either.
And
but
also
here we go,
the skate on the side is very British.
Yeah,
or
Irish skate. Yeah. Harrier locked in, so is Eamonn, and Eamonn was right in his hunch that it was on the eastern side, and a decent chunk, 1100 at that, damage towards Harrier.
Yeah, he's not happy. I don't think he cares about the points. I think it's more about guessing Ireland as a British player, when it was indeed the UK.
Yeah.
But it does happen. It does happen a lot, especially in those two countries. Those toss-ups do happen, and here we have some cacti on a gravel road, driving through mountains. Now, it could be... I mean, with those three features, you think of Mexico, Chile, Brazil can happen sometimes.
What I heard from what you just said is that those countries have quite the distance in between them.
Yep, definitely. But I would say Argentina makes the most sense here with everything else.
In the north? I can't quite tell. Compass looks a bit towards the northwest.
Would say so. It's always better.
North, right?
Never use the sun to measure where you are. Look at the shadows. Because it was indeed Chile, yeah.
It could have been a big game for both of them.
Yeah.
But
it's really hard to commit Chile.
Yeah.
Because there aren't too many roads. I mean, nowadays there are. But it is fairly recent coverage.
Trained in the same school of GeoGuessr, and they both get their guesses close to one another. As Eamonn now once again goes South America, this time around into Uruguay. What tells him Uruguay? Yeah, they're both going to go there.
It is the pole, the trident pole in the distance. Yeah, that one you see Uruguay? In Uruguay rather than Argentina, yeah.
Okay, definitely. So if you're thinking South America, and you see that pole, instantly go Uruguay, and they're both going to be on it. And look at this. Eamonn maintaining his flawless performance here, sending Harrier down under 3K. You can see him now going, come on, man, we're starting to lose this one.
And I will need to think again here. 24.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the pavement looks almost like Texas. Is it a gravel road or is it just pavement with some gravel?
It looks very gravelly.
I'm not sure. Well, what does the sun say? I said it earlier, I always use the shadows. It looks like the shadows are coming from the south. So the sun is south. Or the shadow is pointing to the north, so the sun is south. That way around. Yeah, which makes this an easier guess, or easier to commit to the US, and it is Nevada.
Yeah, okay.
That is a lot of points,
That's what can happen when you play an NPC. You think, aha, I'm up by 3,000 health, and just like that, swung, and you're back to pretty much even scores. As we now go into round number 6, a nice little forest here, but this too could be pretty much anywhere.
Yes, what do we consider here? I mean, I could see Croatia, I could see Czechoslovakia, Hungary. It shouldn't be Baltics. I don't think the vegetation fits for Baltics. So, yeah, somewhere in Eastern Europe, I feel like. Yeah, it was Hungary.
Hungary. Okay, so a big hit onto Harrier, and just like that. After an almost flawless moving round. That was the warm-up that the Demon Eamonn needed in order to swing it around, and brings it home. And Harrier, you feel like he felt like that one slipped out of his hands way too quickly.
Yeah, very, very intense match here. I mean, we already had it in the beginning. We had the little tech issue where they could re-lock in again, but I was predicting this exactly in the beginning. I said it is a very even matchup, and that's what we get here, a 2-1, and very, very close game. I mean, you couldn't really pick a favorite, even though Harrier was really dominating that moving game. Eamonn was always in the right region as well, so yeah, very, very close game and fun to watch as well.
And that's the thing, right? Because that's where the scores can sometimes mislead you a bit when you see that we're in round 9 and Eamonn is down, 900 to 6k against Harrier. It's not that the fact that he made it into round 9 and is still alive against the guy who took no damage means they've both been incredibly close on almost all the guesses, but Harrier has just been that much closer. So Eamonn actually played a very formidable game 1, even though Harrier almost flawlessed him on it. So being able to survive that and then come in and strike back into the last 2 games were incredibly well played by Eamonn there.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very hard to judge players, especially in GeoGuessr, only based on the final results. You always have to look into the games and see what happened, because if you only look on the score, it won't tell you that much, unless it's a longer course of games. But on one game alone, that won't tell you much.
Exactly. Well, that is going to be Harrier and Eamonn done for in this matchup. Now we go into the next seed of games. We saw him just before, made a swift deal of Finbarr. Now we'll see if Zigzag can take it on to Captain. Captain, I feel like, has really risen here in the World League with his capabilities in the game. And yeah, I think it's going to be a tough match for Zigzag. But what do you think, Georges?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Captain did definitely prove himself. He came into the league, he came into the scene not that long ago, so people didn't really have any expectations. They didn't know what his strengths are, etc. But he is really dominating, yeah.
Definitely playing well. We'll get that match going. Just a brief moment. I'm hearing the tune. Once you hear this, chat.
Will we hear it?
Once you hear the song playing right now in the background, that means we're about to get the stats on screen. It means that the game is about to come. And here we go. Zigzag once again up against the Swede Captain. You can see a Zigzag decreasing his average guess time with every game played. I feel like, I mean, it's very rare now that he spends 30 seconds on guesses. But that's the average, of course, having been built up over the entire tournament so far. Where Captain might be a bit slower in guessing, his win rate and precision is that much better.
Yeah, these are insane stats on Captain side. 67% win rate with a 61% precision rate. Just tells you how consistent Captain is.
It does. Definitely does. Are there anything in terms of strengths and weaknesses that you see from these players that could play well into one another? You can see here, Captain still sat outside of that top 10, but we're just talking, what, 4 points between the two. So
we do.
1.5 good game, and he's back up there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both players who don't really main moving at all. They are both more no move or NPC players. I feel like, especially Zigzag is known to spam a lot of NPC games. So not really much, not really a strong feel on the moving game for either side. So let's see what's gonna happen here, and they are gonna play it in a no-move fashion, where they don't really look for these signs or clues around the corner.
I think in this round in particular, there wasn't really a whole lot of info to go by. Captain tried to move up the street initially, but all he saw was one trailer parked in the middle of nowhere, where there wasn't really a whole lot of info available. But now, this time around, maybe they'll get a little bit extra of it.
Yeah, we are in Austria with these signs. We have a town sign, which will also give you the somewhat bigger city which it belongs to. I don't think it did, but
it did.
Now we have better signs.
It did say goulash.
Well,
yeah. I'm just not sure if that was the name of a place or just the fact that there was a restaurant around the corner.
We are in the village of goulash there. Let's just assume it was. And we move on to round 3 already in this moving game. We are in Captain's home country. We have these short dashed lines. The red Google car visible.
Zigzag knows he's got to play fast on this one. Don't want to give Captain any advantages in Sweden. He's going to go down towards the south. We'll see if you get anything with that. Might as well, if you're given the 15 seconds extra from Zigzag, take that extra time. Goes close to Vecchio. We'll see if he's going to be close with it. Actually, a bit further south than that in Kristianstad. As, I guess 8 damage, I mean, is as much
Sweet
as you can expect to see come through here.
Yeah. I mean, Sweden is pretty hard to region guess, especially in a forest. So not really something you do expect, but it does happen if they go by the standard plunk in the central south.
True. Captain, according to prediction, the better America guesser. We'll see if
we have
an
area
this
code.
time around. Zigzag is again, I mean, trying to beat MK in the guessing time.
Ooh, we have a Canada guess from Captain. It is the US though, and it is Colorado. And in Captain's defense, there's nothing looking like BC, like British Columbia, until you're in Colorado, where it starts looking like British Columbia again.
Did he not have the US, the big waving US flag? I think especially these days, Canada don't have a lot of US flags waving.
Yep, that was on Zigzag's screen, I think.
Oh, it was, okay.
If we saw it on Captain's screen. But yeah, definitely helping. And as I said, I have seen a lot of... Hey, me myself, I guessed British Columbia and Colorado plenty of times. I don't know why these two look so much alike, so really not to blame Captain here. But yeah, Zigzag
Not at all.
getting the right information down to confirm it's Colorado. He does know his area codes in the US, and that definitely helped him to close out the game by guessing the right state.
For sure. Into game number 2 we go, into no move. As we head into Yucatan Peninsula. It's going to be close on both of them. Captain, though, a little bit closer. Despite Zigzag again, I mean, he is guessing instantly, and getting this close is incredibly impressive from Zigzag.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, very sandy soil, especially with those thin trees along the road, is, yeah, I would say Yucatan is one of the most recognizable areas of the world. Because you always get it without any signs, without information, it is Yucatan. It just looks like it. It's like one of the places where you always see the pros getting Yucatan correct without any information, because, yeah, it is the vibes that are very strong in Yucatan.
With that, this one being a close affair as well, almost tied in points now, as we head on into round number 3. Once again, we're out in the open. Had it just been moved, there might have been more info available. There is a bit of a gate down there at the end, but not a whole lot more than that.
We are reaching the end of the road here. Indeed, there was a sign. I couldn't really tell what it is. The production did put me down to 720p, I think, for that one. So I can make
the 4K resolution in order to be able to see what that says.
Well, then surely then I would have known where we are exactly. Yes. But that sign does look more like a US sign. I don't know what it is. It could be maybe some unique sign just for the entrance of the park.
Could be.
But yeah, definitely looking more northern with these trees. A lot of these big pines.
Both in and around Ottawa.
Yeah, does make sense. Yeah, Ontario can look like this, but it was Quebec instead.
Not too far off.
Yeah, I mean, not too far off in terms of it's the province right next to it, but it's still 700 kilometers.
Yeah, pretty big country. Pretty big country. As we now go out into the open once more. This time around, a little easier to tell, at least the country, guaranteed. As this vehicle should give you the info that you need.
It does. I don't know if it's the road Zigzag is on, because the angle is off. We are driving northwest on this stretch. So yeah,
5Ks?
I thought we are more west in the country, so I like his guess more now.
Any 5Ks?
Anything around Atirao. I thought
he's looking for it.
South. I mean, the angle does change on both sides of the road, so it could just be a tricky angle, and we are actually on that road around Kizilorda, where he was initially. You can have that angle there, but it's only a couple short stretches where that does make sense.
I like where Captain is currently positioned a bit further towards the south, down by the water. That has a kind of that swing going in there. We'll see if any of them is going to be exactly on point. Nope, just a bit further south of where Zigzag was, as a matter of fact. And it's going to be big damage come through onto Captain. So even though he was in the nearby facility in terms of the southwestern part of the country, just like with Canada, it's still 800 kilometers away.
Yeah, definitely was gettable with the angle, I would say. But I've also mentioned that there could be some evil angles sneaking in that stretch of the Northwest Road where it could have made sense, and Captain went for it, getting punished by that. And we move over to this round. We have... what is it played? Is it a long or a short plate? I mean, it should be Brazil. Looking at this town down there, with a lot of that brick used. The vegetation looks southern. So
Zigzag goes north of Sao Paulo here. How do you like that guess?
Anything from Sao Paulo down to even Santa Catarina does make sense to me.
Okay, so this could be a game type.
Definitely.
Type location. Big enough distance in between the two. No easy tells on the vehicle in front. It's not a Nigerian follow car, so we're not going to get the free info off of that. But even with that, they are pretty close to one another. Both sat there on the northwestern side of Sao Paulo. They're both going to get their guesses in simultaneously, and both going to be almost equally far from the location. But once again, it's going to be Zigzag close up, sitting Captain down now under 1K.
Yeah, playing it out safe here. No one's really committing, and it was indeed in that right rough area. And we move on to a Japan round. We have some interesting looking rock walls here. Well, you see them all over Japan, to be honest. But I think it's a Kansai region pole top there.
Okay.
So we should be somewhere around Osaka, and Zigzag did spot that fork to get the right region. It should be. I'm already saying it is the right region because I know that pole top, but Captain is also there and was on the northern side of Osaka in Hyogo, which also still belongs to the Kansai region.
Yeah, small but needed strike back from Captain here. Can't let it get too far out of hand as he's already down 1-0. He would really like to take it into NMPC as we now sit zooming in on this one. I thought initially Zigzag thought we were playing NMPC because he wasn't moving at all.
He took his time to pan around, and panning around makes this location way easier as we see the Italian bollard right behind us. So you know we are in Italy. It doesn't look too far northern, but at the same time it doesn't look too far southern. So anything in the stretch from where Zigzag is with his pin all the way to around the Italy label is something I do consider here. Maybe even Tuscany is possible, which they both have covered more or less. So let's see where it turns out.
South side of Milan is where Zigzag is permanently positioned. We got one further towards the southern side. You can see Zigzag joy in his eyes, knowing that he won this one. Fist bumps in the air as well as he 2-0's Captain, feeling confident about that one. Back-to-back wins here for Zigzag today, starting off the day really well.
Yeah. I mean, 4 games, 4 wins for Zigzag for today so far. Getting the Po Valley there is very, very impressive. We had some good hills, some good-sized hills, which you don't usually get there. It's just a couple areas, but Zigzag still was sure it has to be the Po Valley. It's just some hills randomly, clustered around here, surely. And it was indeed. He did get the win of that. And as I said, 4 games, 4 wins. Very impressive.
Definitely, and I like that. I mean, Zigzag is kind of an enigma player in the sense that he's a man of many playstyles. And it keeps your opponent on your tiptoes the whole time, because you never know. Like, when you go up against MK, you just know straight up he's going to guess within 5 seconds every single game. But with Zigzag, sometimes it's instant. Sometimes he lets it run all the way down to the end. Like, you never know what you're up against. So I feel like it puts more pressure on you when you're on the opposite side of that matchup going, I'm not really sure what to expect in this coming round, because there were rounds where it looked like Captain would have really wanted a couple second extra where he didn't get it, and there were rounds where he was the one to log in first, and Zigzag seemed like he was the one taking his time on it. So very interesting to see that matchup play through the way that it did. But again, incredible performance from Zigzag. As we now go into Swan, Gambit, Eamonn. We're going to skip Pan and Fenip and take Eamonn on once again as he goes up against Swan, Gambit. And we're starting early on here, out in the middle of the Bay of Bengal.
Wow. Well,
what a start.
The first time I see those islands appear in a World League. Very, very limited coverage there, but I also don't really know how to get them. Well, I didn't see the location, so... But based on their guesses, I can assume it was a very hard location.
I can tell you that it's the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. I did not know that was their name, but now we know. And I don't think I've ever seen or had a guess on those islands before. So what a start to the game as we get into round 2. Not a 5K, but almost for Eamonn, who played an incredible game against with the glasses on there as well. A little PM being thrown in there. Put some pressure on. I like it. When you get a good guess, you can brag about it.
Yeah, you have to earn them. The glasses. As we go over to this round, which looks like Kenya, even though we don't have the snorkel, you know, nowadays you can't fully rely on the snorkel on the car. You have this type of coverage as well. Looks more western half of the country, given how green it is. It was indeed very far west. Right on the border to Tanzania, and we move on to the next round. Yeah, these islands, they didn't have coverage until last year. So yeah, haven't really looked into them as well. I looked at a couple of roads and I was like, I'll never see those in a game, so why bother?
Yeah.
But,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Quick guessing coming in here for Eamonn. Will come out victorious. Swan Gambit was almost immediately thereafter on the guess, so they both must have had really good intel to get that one locked in. So now go into round number 5. Swan Gambit sitting under half health currently. Going towards, Eamonn is zooming towards Iran. I'm not sure if that's where you want to log in.
No, there should be somewhere along the north coast. I don't know what these plantations are. It looks more northeast. Like this look we have on Swan Gambit's screen looks northeastern. But it could also be northwest.
Let's see. Is it Gelotris?
Is it hazelnut?
Turkey 5k powers.
Well, if it's hazelnut, it should be northeast more. Yeah. Ordo is known to have a lot of these hazelnut plantations we had.
There you go.
But it goes all the way to Trabzon, so anywhere from Ordo to Trabzon did make sense there.
Minimal damage though, both equally or almost equally far from the correct location as we go from one mountainous location into another. What a beautiful spot this is.
It is beautiful. It should be somewhere along this short stretch along the coast of Croatia is my thought, but the mountains might be too big now that I look at it. It still somehow looks like Croatia. Do we have a rift? Do we get a rift
Montenegro
check?
initially, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. It looks like Monty, but the coverage looks weird. Especially the copyright is 22. Sorry for being a nerd.
You know what? That's why we're here. That is why the viewers are here. We want to hear from the nerds.
You get mostly like 2016, I think, in Montenegro. Therefore, I want to rule it out in this Croatia. They both didn't get it, actually. Which is probably because of the size of the mountains, because usually you don't see that big of mountains in Croatia. They're usually a bit of, lower in size, but the coverage definitely did fit.
See, into the next round we go. Swan Gambit having himself a hard time thus far getting anything going. But again, when you're up against Eamonn, who, even when he almost got flawless by Harrier, played an incredible game. He is really on point right now. 2-1 reverse sweep against Harrier. And now, here in this one, what do we have lined up? He's in the southern parts, I should say, of Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking here?
The amount of palm trees we have around here, you always go that southern stretch of Thailand with your guess. Mm-hmm. Especially with this amount and with how sandy it is, just kind of flat. So everything combined makes this a 98% Southern Peninsula Thailand.
I love that statistic. 98, not 97 or 99, but 98 specifically. And here we go, and you were right. Those 98% were completely on point, and they were set just 1 kilometer apart. So, there you have it.
Very interesting to see they both end up there, because the southern stretch is usually a bit more hard to reach and guess, whereas in this case it was very flat. And yeah, the place they both guessed on is indeed very flat. In the southern stretch.
Prediction gives Eamonn the upper hand. We'll see if that's gonna pay off or not.
Yes,
we should be
Russia.
What are you thinking here?
Yes, it does make sense. We have some very low trees, which puts you more in the north. I am not sure if this is even Russia. What is the copyright? I have to be a nerd again. Is it 21? Because Russia mostly or almost always has 2021 copyright. So if you don't see it, maybe reconsider your guess. But there's definitely also some updated copyrights in Russia where it can be higher than 21. Never under 21 though.
Copyright, of course, being when you zoom in, you see when the photos were taken on screen. As this time around. Oh, you can see the frustration on Swan Gambit's face. Miles off towards the east. Make that almost 2,500 kilometers off. As Eamonn able to get himself a swift 2-0 against Swan Gambit. And continue what has been a very, very good performance so far today. Even though he had himself some tech issues earlier, he got them fixed. And since then, there's been no looking back. It's just been Eamonn all the way.
Yeah, I mean, the tech can fail, the internet can fail, but the skills don't. Eamonn playing very, very strong here. Especially the last round wasn't easy at all. I mean, we had some, as I mentioned, low trees, which you get more in the north of Russia. But still, committing towards that region, was very rewarding there. And we move on to the next.
We are speedrunning these games today. We want to get as many. We cannot even finish a sentence before we get into new place. And here we go. The most known meta knowledge in the world finally presented on our screens as we get Pan and Fenip playing one another. In Ghana, we're in round 5 already, but as you can see, minimal damage has been done thus far. Fenip sat at 59, Pan now down to 4,600. But since we didn't get a real intro of this one, Joe, just talk to me a bit about these two players.
Yes, I mean, Pan, Fenip, I would say now we really have different playstyles. We have Pan, who's more of a no-move player, doesn't really like to play moving at all, whereas Fenip is almost a moving main, I could say. He's only playing moving. He has some good knowledge on place names and area codes and all that stuff that you need to be good in moving. So in this starting mode, the moving game, it's always in the world. We don't have country maps here. I would say he is favored definitely in a moving mode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, favorite maybe, but Pan able to strike back here, tying things up effectively. Just 40 points between the two. We've seen games come down to less than that, but not here. Not this time around. Not just yet. So we go into round number 7 out in the open, far away from cities. But what country do you see us being in here, Geotres?
Is this Czechia, Slovakia, or Romania? I mean, the road doesn't look Romanian, so maybe more Czechia, Slovakia. Especially with that poll we had, unless it's France, which I don't think it is. Now we gotta look on the buildings. We have some yellow buildings, so yeah, should be Czechoslovakia then. And we had a double signpost, I think, which is a Slovakia thing. And Fenip is right on the city. Did he recognize the skyline, I should say?
I'm not sure. It might have been that as soon as you started zooming in, sometimes your eyes just get fixed on the correct city, and you're like, wow, my eyes really did me a favor there. And for them, of course, when they get the region down, it makes it that much easier. As Pan now instantly sending it into Poland.
Definitely something I would do as well, because I am not good at all with Polish town names. I don't know a lot of them. And usually if I see an urban environment in Poland, I always send it out to put that timer on. Because you would assume a player like Fenip will know a lot of places there. So by not giving him that risk, and I think it was the smart thing to do, because it was very far south. So Fenip would have gotten to information and would have gotten that town all the way in the south. It could have been a lot of damage, but yeah, he pretty much forced him to also click middle there.
Yeah. The Pan Rome plunk. We'll see if that's going to pay off for him. There's a lot of info for Fenip, but I'm not sure it's really giving him intel outside of the small city he's in.
Banari on the side.
Go further north. And we're actually out on the islands. Okay, Sardinia.
Was Sardinia. Interesting. I didn't get that vibe. But of course, in an urban environment, it's very hard to tell that you are in Sardinia, because usually you need more of the landscape to get that one. And again,
Pan
we have a shot.
Pan is country plunking this
Pan
game
around
right now.
Sticking to his
It's round
name.
10. This is huge. It's round 10, 200 points between him. Whoever ends up with the most points after this round will be victorious. And it's going to be Fenip closer by a tiny bit.
I don't know why Pan went with the middle guess, because Fenip had the lead, so you have to try something to turn it around. And I don't know.
Maybe try to put pressure on, force Fenip into making a mistake. I'm not sure, but caught me a bit by surprise there too. So that's going to be Fenip out victorious and moving. But that's also, of course, where you said he has his upper hand.
Definitely.
We'll see now if Pan can strike back as we go into no move.
We are indeed in a no-move game, and we spawn in a forest, and I think Pan loves to see that, whereas Fenip hates to see it. Let's see if we have any information besides some trees. We see a little fence sticking out there, like a metal fence, which isn't really a very common thing to see in South America, so we should be more in the US, I think, with a metal fence like that.
Also, while we're in round 1, let me just quickly, I saw someone in chat say, "Hi guys, I'm new here. Can you explain to me why in some of the games they can move and some of them they can't?" And instantly, I was gonna respond, but instantly I see 5-6 people in chat reaching out very nicely, helping out new viewers in the chat. You know what? That's an amazing community. That's people helping out one another, growing together. That is what we're all for. So shout out to you, chat, for being nice and welcoming to new peeps in here, as I talked over that entire round, and they didn't even get the state right, so it's okay. They were in Nebraska, or they should have been, and 87 damage was all there was to write home about.
Yeah, I mean, I also have to make a shout out, of course, to that supportive chat. Really a thing that made me stick in the GeoGuessr community back then, with how supportive and positive the community is. It's like really insane.
I mean, hell, they
the community is really...
I'm not sure if they're nice, they're just insane at this point.
Even you. No,
even I could get in here. There's room for everyone.
Definitely a game where you can, like, sometimes, you know, burn out if you learn too much and you, I don't know, get tired of playing it. You had those phases, definitely. But if you have the community behind it and all the friends you make along, it's still fun to play. It's still... makes
that,
it,
and there's always something going on. That's one of the great things about GeoGuessr, in my opinion, is that yes, you can have big tournaments as, ooh, hold on for a second. Big round here for Pan. You can see Fenip instantly hands to the face. Bulgaria, what was I thinking? Out on a miss on that one. Maybe we dial back the focus of the game as much as you want to talk about chat and how great GeoGuessr is, because it really is, and you're in for a good time.
What if we make both? What if we make both? We have, I mean, for now, I want to stick to the location because it is quite the hot location. We don't really have anything to work with again.
Fenip is like north side Botswana.
Could see that.
Wait, is he lining up a 5K on a road with nothing to? Oh my god, that would be insane. Fenip, my man.
Yeah, especially if it is a little bit. I mean,
Pan hasn't even opened his map yet.
I don't know if you want to call this hilly, but it's not
he's
super
going South Africa.
flat.
No, he's in Bots as well.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and he does get it. Okay, I thought Fenip looked very sure in where he was going, but it's not going to be enough. As a matter of fact, Pan, only opening his map with 5 seconds left to play, is able to take home the moving round. And now we go into the third game mode, which is NMPC. No moving, no panning, no zooming, no nothing. Still image. And we don't get the music, but we can go. You know what? Right off the top of my head, I can't even remember the music. Can you hum the music for the game? Go for it, Gelotris.
I was about to ask you if you could do that, because I definitely can.
In-game music brought to you by Gelotris.
I don't think that's happening.
Wait. What? Hello?
30C and Pados. Only 844 meters off. I mean, it was a flat green Peru. And pretty much you get that either where Pan clicked or where Fenip clicked.
So it's a coin flip.
It is pretty much a coin flip, yeah.
What a start.
If you haven't really studied the differences between those roads, or don't have a road alignment that fits perfectly on a long stretch, then it can be a coin toss, definitely.
Incredible start. Pan continuing the pace up high. He doesn't want to have the casters yapping all day long. He wants to get this game over with as he continues to hit home 12 kilometers off on his second guess, and just like that, in 2 rounds. I even hit my mic out there. Pan.
Wow.
What?
I mean.
Change your name to No Pan, my friend. You're insane.
That was indeed insane. On quite a hot locations, getting this close twice in a row is very, very impressive. I mean, okay, on the Peru round, it was either a coin flip or he knew it's not the 30C. These roads are definitely learnable. You can definitely learn some differences. Sometimes it's the road quality, sometimes it's the sky. You can look at the sky shapes on the 30C, and you can look at the sky shape of the Tarapoto road to Iquitos, because, I mean, yeah, these roads only got covered once in Gen 4, therefore you will always have the same features along the whole stretch.
I am at a loss for words with how swiftly that came to an end.
Was insane.
I love all the chat's call-outs. Pan the man, he was fantastic. You know what he was? That was a great, great game. We are going to take a quick break now, but after that, as you can see on screen, it's Lendli versus Mada time. Two really, really good players who I'm excited to see. I know you are as well, Chidoji. So let's get a quick drink real quickly. Get ready for this banger of a matchup starting in just a couple of minutes. See you guys in just a few.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup? Denmark? Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings, world-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably. I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.
blink and you missed it. That's how quickly Pan dealt with his opposition in that previous matchup. We didn't have a chance to break it down at all because Pan just made such a quick end of that matchup against Fenip. But now we go into the third bracket of today's matchups, and we have got ourselves Lendli versus Mada. I'm Toby. I'm joined by Gelotris, and Gelotris talked to me about these two. I guess at this point, kind of legends of the game, at least within the European pro scene.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talk about Lendli and Mada, especially for me. It's an interesting game because I had both players in my group in the Europe majors. So I had both Lendli and Mada to play in my group stage, so I know how it is to play against them. And let me tell you something, they are very strong. They were strong back then, and now that's been almost 2 years. Not really.
I remember, so I was casting with Lendli. I was casting with Lendli last year, and I brought up a point with him going, oh, I remember one, because we were casting a game Mada was playing. And I said to him, oh, yeah, I remember Mada, he had such a quick, like, he had a flick to Turkey once where he got, not a 5k, but close there too. He was in, I don't know, Argentina, just flicked Turkey, ended up winning with it. And I was like, oh, do you remember that? And Lendli looked at me with, like, dead in his eyes. I was like, yeah, Toby, I remember. Because he did it against me. So that's a memory that I have of that matchup with Lendli and Mada going up against one another. I'm sure Lendli would want some of those points back that Mada ended up stealing away from him, as we see the German player here on our screens.
I do remember that game, and we have the statistics indeed. The win rate is on Lendli's side here. However, I want to say with a precision like that, 55 on Mada's side, 53 on Lendli's side. It can still be very even. And speaking of even, look at that average guess time.
Else identical, else can be. Two very, very evenly matched up players. Win rate, of course, as you can see, on Lendli's side of things, just a wee tad better. Also pushing him that much further up the leaderboard. He has played 2 more matches than Mada, but keep in mind, of course, there are still plenty of weeks left to play here. And for Mada, well, there's only one way, and that's up here for him. So we would really want to get some points off of Lendli here. So we go into game number 1, round number 1. It's move. It's go up and down the road time for the German and the Italian.
It is indeed. And let's see what we have to work with here. That looks like an Ecuador. But it looks so far, I want to say. Now, why is it Ecuador? Well, the pavement. We have white plates, so you can, countries that can look like Ecuador are usually Colombia or Mexico. And in Mexico, we would have octagonal poles, which we don't have here. It's rounded. And in Colombia, we will have yellow plates, which we don't have here. So, pretty much Ecuador left, especially with this pavement. Something else you could consider is maybe Brazil, but Brazil has long plates, not these short plates. So just by these plates, you can rule everything out.
It's the rule of deduction most of the time in a game of GeoGuessr is when you get the vibes down, you go, can it be this? Nope. Can it be that? No. Great. Then it has to be this. Even if you don't get anything that directly tells you that that is the country, by removing all the other ones that could have been the country, then oftentimes you can get the country correct, just like we see there. As Lendli strikes first, not too big of a hit, but able to get the first round in. And now, well, prediction tells us Mada should be closer, and they both are very, very close. As a matter of fact, ding, identical at 4994.
Giving us the sound effects there. Thank you for that, Toby.
Someone has to do it, you know, in the game won't. Then
love to hear it, because you definitely missed that sound.
I could go out and bring my guitar, and I'll play background music while you talk.
It's a good shout.
That's a cast, I suppose.
It's a good shout. This looks like an interesting valley. We are in Bhutan. Is it the Paro Valley? We could be in Paro. Maybe. I think it's one of the western valleys, but they both disagree. Keen to find out. Not too sure.
No, not sure either. They weren't too far from the location
does
either,
that
though.
count as the Paro Valley?
I'm not sure.
It's right east of it.
A little bit towards the east this time around, as Mada able to strike back in this one. So we now go somewhat rural, somewhat seems like location here can't quite determine what it wants to be.
I would say it's Argentina with those poles. Yeah, definitely look more Argentinian. We have the black Google car as well with a flatness like this. Now we jump over to this better camera quality, which we call Gen 4. To those who are new, you always hear this Gen talk, Gen 2, even Gen 1. Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4.
Exist.
That's pretty much the camera generation the Google car used to capture these images. And yeah, for now, camera generation 4 is the highest quality camera, which we have here. Very crisp, very exposed. Pretty much jump back and forth between Gen 3 and Gen 4 here. It looks more west in the country, I want to say, but however, it is very flat as well. So we should be somewhere in the middle then.
A little off on this one. A little off, only 100 kilometers in a pretty tricky location, but Mada able to get very close to it, sending him down to just over 5k health currently as we go into round number 5, halfway point of this game number 1. Yet another urban location. As, well, predictions tells us, Mada has got behind this one.
4,941.
Pretty
How
decent.
many Romania runs did Mada have? Because Romania usually isn't really that country where you get those free 5. I mean, on moving you have very good signs. But on no move without information, usually Romania isn't that easy to region guess. If you have tiled roofs everywhere like here, you are more in the west of the country. And we have some good signs on Mada's side. Especially Bassa is a very big place. I definitely butchered that pronunciation. Maybe Bacha? Bassa?
I'm not Romanian,
sure.
so I can't correct you on that, but it sounds correct to me.
Yeah.
And again, for the viewers that just came in now to watch their main man Lendli play that are wondering where the game audio is, we are having some audio technical issues, which I'm sorry will not be fixed here in the games. So you have to live with me and dear and beloved Gelotris, giving you all the crisp ear pleasure that is our voices.
We do give our best on that.
As we go into round number 6, Mada practically untouched so far. Lendli was able to win round 1, but a minimal damage taken on Mada. I mean, he's almost as flawless as can be so far against Lendli.
Yeah, definitely. And we are in Eastern Europe. It looks like Czechia to me so far. However, this time will tell us it's more likely to be Slovakia. With the double signpost, we have good information, but at the same time, those are very small places.
Ooh, a lot of info on that sign for Mada. Not sure if you can see it from the angle he's at. Nope, now going a bit further off the street,
Well,
but
there's a town
makes it harder to tell.
42 kilometers away, which should be always on the map probably in a country size like Slovakia.
Lot
They
of
both
info
end up
available.
in Czechia. I was wrong.
Maybe they were. We'll have to wait and
No,
see.
I was
and
wrong.
indeed, you were.
Definitely.
Happens.
Yeah, we had,
happens to the best of us. That's good on Lendli to set this one pretty much as tight as can be. 3 points between the two players right now, coming into round number 7.
Indeed. Usually you had 2 metas. Like Czechia, Slovakia was always so hard to tell. Because back then you had black caps on signposts. And that was almost always Czechia. But now you have them in Slovakia as well with the new coverage.
Ooh.
And now I always don't know what to use. Do I use the black caps or the double signposts? Because double signposts are more likely to be in Slovakia than Czechia. But the black caps are more likely in Czechia. But nothing is really 100% there. So that makes it a bit difficult without language. And now we are in Mexico. We have some
good highway
signs
information
because we
that
have the
Lendli has
highway
found.
numbers.
I'm not sure
given.
Mada saw the same, but now he has... now he found a separate sign. It says practically, almost I should say, the same, because it's not fully identical. But both able to get some pretty good intel coming into this one. Letting it run all the way down to the end as well. Shouldn't be too much damage being done in this one, as they are
because
very close
we
to one another.
are not on the yellow road. We are still on the white road, had the signs to it. We are not on it. That made it a bit tricky. To 5k, however, getting the right rough area was not a big deal for either of them. And we are in Australia.
We're in Drown.
South. Don't know. We have
Shout out to all the people of Drown.
ending.
South. Ooh, nice little intel there.
Yeah, we have a sea road, so we
yeah.
should be in Victoria probably. With that number, 432. Besides that, we also have some Victoria posts on Lendli's side, so I think both should get Victoria.
Maybe this is worth mentioning as well, that the players, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong here, Gelotris, but the players are zoomed in one step further than what we are, so he can actually see some of these sea numbers, or sea road numbers. Now we see it as well. You can see there when it zooms in further. 432, 432. He's found the city now as well. Mada is looking to 5k. The thing is, Lendli has not yet found that same sign that he found earlier. So Mada looking, trying to see if he can 5k this one, and we'll see how close he's going to get. 30 meters off. Incredible 5k coming through from Mada. All Lendli can do is shake his head and go, yeah, I did not know where we were, but still.
Lendli was complaining about, really, because, I don't know, he pretty much had everything. He also got the right area.
I don't think he ever saw the sea road.
I don't think he got to the better sign.
Exactly.
But at the same time, he doesn't know that Mada got it. So maybe he read through his mind. I don't know.
That's the danger of moving, is that, well, road goes two ways. Sometimes you go one, your opponent goes the other, and they just get info that is that much better than what you had to work with. As we now see a new round. Round number 9. Lendli would really love to take some points off of Mada to tie things up a bit more, or even better, get ahead or even win here in this round, coming into a potential round 10. But of course, Russia could very easily be the final resting place for one of these players in this game.
Definitely, and again,
most likely will be, I should say, with 5 times multiplier.
To assign, which
would
probably
right, though. It says something about KM.
Selenovsk. No. They are, again, both in the right rough area. However, Mada is on the right side. Not really close, but a bit closer. But that's already enough to get a good chunk of points down. Bringing Lendli to half HP. Pretty much.
And now 1,000 damage done to Lendli could be the difference maker here. Coming into the final round, Lendli needs 2,100 points off of Mada and able to take home this game. But it's Brazil, so definitely could be big here.
Definitely, and Mada did lock a guess in already, putting that pressure down. Exactly. He has the town. Is that on the bus?
Well, they both have it now, so yeah, Lendli's not going to get enough points in this, unfortunately. Yawning.
On it.
He wins it, but it's not going to be enough. It is round 10, and because Mada is ahead, he's going to be able to bring that one home. So Mada, at least guaranteeing some points. 1 point guaranteed, should Lendli 2-1 reverse sweep this. But, of course, hoping for a lot more than that, Mada, that is, to be able to climb up that leaderboard.
Definitely, as we go over to no move. I would say Mada is the better moving player in this matchup. So from now on, it could get interesting to see, because this time I will give it to Lendli. Lendli is definitely better no move player.
I feel like this seed has been incredibly difficult compared to some of the other matchups we've had so far today. Back into Russia we go, but no move, no clear signs. What are you looking at for info here that can tell you the region?
Yeah, especially urban Russia can be very difficult. In this case, we have the antenna this much. Also kind of looks hilly. I like that Chelyabinsk guess. Could see that. And it is right northeast of it.
What a start to this one. Would have wanted to get a hit like that in a later round. But even here now, almost taking Mada down to half health in round 1. That is the exact start that you're hoping for in a game of no move when you're behind 1 round as well. Coming in now to round number 2.
Definitely very good to get this lead in round 1, because now you have even more multis to build out this lead. We are in the US, given those bollards and signage. Because just by the looks, you could also consider other countries.
There's some distance in between the two here. Lendli is in Oregon. You have Mada looking down towards Nevada. Maybe going even further southeast than that.
You know, I like that guess more.
This is
Oregon,
dangerous.
But
Oregon
Lendli knows something, I feel
There's
like.
Nothing Mada is looking to do is go north, but now the confusion on his face going, wait, what? Where's my lead? I had it for a second, and just like that, Mada swings back.
Yeah,
what was
didn't
he
look
seeing
like
there?
the average Oregon, I must say. But maybe he misread the bollards, because we had some bollards. But those are very, very hard to use in the US. Because sometimes it's not 100%.
Yeah.
And
we had a flag there, giving us the country. There was some intel, but a bit too blurry on the wall back there, I think. That trash can doesn't give us a good angle either. So what are you basing this on? I'll let you 5K this one for us.
Oh no, not this one, because it's urban.
Go for it.
Guessing urban is quite difficult. I mean, the hills look more like the Konya Eskişehir side of the country. No, not really helpful information there either. Yeah, I feel like we are somewhere. I mean, Lendli is covering a lot of possibilities there. He does go quite in between Eskişehir and Konya, the two I mentioned. Which is a very valid guess. I don't feel like it's in between, but you still cover a lot of areas. And it was
almost
just
identical in distance. Both in and around the same area simultaneous in their water drinking as well. That was very, very synchronized. Good job, guys. Going 3, 2, 1, zip, and then down again. Beautiful.
A lot. The water sips in between the rounds. Yes, we move over to this round. Kind of is it a reddish tint in the road? Do you see a lot in Sweden? Especially you also see it in Gotland a lot, but this does not look like Gotland.
We'll see, they're both going eastern.
Should be somewhere on the mainland.
Yep. Lendli, a bit further towards the south. Mada pretty much just plonking it straight into Stockholm. As Lendli is now actually out towards the islands on the eastern side. Yeah. Oh, but it's going to be off. It's up towards Gävle. They have a nice symphonic orchestra, I can tell you that much. But that's going to be... Once again, Lendli hit on this one. Mada vibing, bouncing his head, or bobbing his head back and forth. Looking for a swift 2-0 win here, but we know Lendli, he can strike back at any point.
Ooh, but look at that prediction. 4.2 and 2.8 difference. I mean, are these statistics also based on the move?
They're based on everything. It's as long as you have more than 2 guesses in. I mean, as long as both players have more than 2 guesses in the location.
So it could be tricky, because if they only had a certain country only on moving, and then get it on no move, and they have an average high score, you would assume they are good at it no move, but maybe they only had the right signs on the moving game, where you usually have higher scores. So don't get tricked, don't get fooled.
NPC exclusive stats, average 800 points. As we go into Russia again, but big country doesn't matter. They're both going to be close, and good for Lendli that he's able to hit home here on this one. Not too much damage done, but at least keeps him in the game. 1,000 points separate the two. Lendli stands between a potential NPC or falling 2-0 to Mada, getting no points for himself, as once again, the statistics have Mada winning this one.
Yeah, and we move over to a more difficult round. Are we actually in the US? What is that sign in the distance? It looks Baltic, but...
Is it a sign?
I don't know if it is. Is just some lens blur?
It'd be a very awkward US stop sign in the middle of the woods.
Definitely. And also the road is
Mada
super
is
narrow.
In Estonia. What are you thinking of that?
I like that more than US. Because it kind of looks Baltic to me. But at the same time, it's maybe a bit too hilly. Can happen in the Baltics.
I'm going to go Canada.
We have no car, though.
It's my job to be wrong. So I'm going to go Canada.
Why do we have no car? Would that ever happen in the Baltics? I don't think so. think we
I'm
are.
not sure. Oh, Lendli is actually going Canada
Yeah.
on this one. This is going to be huge. It's going to be game regardless, and it is Canada.
Okay.
You know what? I would like to sign up for the World League for next season because Lendli just made me look real smart. And Lendli himself looked incredibly smart with that one too. Big damage come through, massive at that, taking us into an NPC.
Okay, did we have an American side sign, or did I just trick my brain into thinking it was one because I thought it's the Americas? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But
Regardless, I said it for fun, and it turned out to be right, so that felt good.
No, you knew it. You knew it, Toby.
Of course I did. I'm trying to make you sound smarter. That's my job, you know.
I see. All right.
Then when I'm the one that
take
gets it right, it feels awkward.
And it is an NPC now. Again, we have a little bit of a smudge there.
So
to the left.
1 point guaranteed for both of them.
And this time, Mada goes towards that area where it was the last time. That smudge we had. Given the looks, I do agree it could be there. Could look like it. Not really much to work with here besides that, though. Because it's really hard to tell what these trees are. Usually around Chelyabinsk you see a lot of birch spam. Just a lot of birch trees. But yeah, this rolling hills landscape, pretty empty, also fits for that area. So let's see if it is indeed, and it is a bit more east. And with a bit more, I mean almost 1,000 kilometers.
It looks small on the map, but there just ain't a whole lot of roads or cities out there.
Yeah.
As you say, they're both 1,000 kilometers off, but again, of course, trained from the same school of GeoGuessr knowledge, so in and around the same area. As we now, for the first time today, at least according to Mada, go down to Spain.
We do indeed. We on Spain, we have this ladder pole, this chunky ladder pole. You see here and there, the architecture somewhat looked a bit more southern to me. Don't know why Mada's getting the vibes for the north. I could be wrong.
Lendli towards the center, actually almost at Gibraltar. You can see Mada instantly hands in the air, going, oh, that's an annoying one. So Lou's sending him down 2,000 points, sitting now just over 4K.
Yeah, the architecture looked very southern, but it's always hard to commit all the way to the
we are getting
coast where it was.
So many rush rounds today.
We do, especially in this match up here.
Does that say Omsk on the
it's saying
wall?
Yeah, it does. It's saying Omsk.
I don't read Russian, but it said OM to begin with, so
something.
And they just both gotta send it into Omsk. Makes good sense. Small city in the eastern side. Might as well get that round over with. Don't want to linger too long as 4 damage comes through. Nothing too big, but for Lendli, bragging rights remain still flawless here in an NPC.
Big 4 points. As we go over to this Malaysia round, we have the double white lines.
Avas.
The Avas sign. Interesting location. Very interesting. It looks very built up, very new, modern. Yeah.
So therefore it is
it's maybe more around the capital or northwest, where it's a bit more touristy.
Having been in Malaysia, I will say they do build big complexes in areas where you go, why did you build this here?
Yeah, I mean,
when you drive down the highway, way outside the city, out of nowhere, there's like a big bungalow of massive buildings, and you go, wait, what is this doing here? As you can see, out on the northern side of the city of Kuala Lumpur here as well. As finally, Mada in round 4 able to take some points over Lendli.
Yeah, and we are getting to round 5 now in this NMPZ match. This will decide the winner. We are in Australia on an east-west stretch.
Kilometer?
This could either be the road west, I mean in the center of the country pretty much, Australia label, west of Ghan. There's the road 4, that could make sense, or it's the 66 in Northern Territories, which is the road that connects Northern Territory and Queensland.
And the fact that you know this, is it just by having played the same roads time and time again?
Look where Lendli is guessing, the 66, Northern Territory, the road to Queensland. Yeah, I mean, first off, the alignment, you know we are on the east-west road. So you would assume, yeah, that we could be on that road because it goes east-west, but it was actually the one.
Yeah.
That is pretty hard to get. But
Another
that one
big
also
round.
looks like that. So you kind of have to look at the looks and how empty it is.
I mean, being able to do
type.
3,000 damage when you're 1,000 kilometers off yourself's got to feel pretty good for Lendli.
Definitely,
As
but at
we
the same
now-
time, Mada, if he would have gotten the 1, it would have pretty much turned the game around.
Oh yeah, big time. Big
So
time.
there was
As
some
we now-
opportunity.
Mada needs something good going, and he needs it right now. Currently hovering in Kentucky. Lendli is further towards the north in this one so far, so this could very easily be game.
It could be, it could be. I do like the northern gas. It looks very lush green. And these trees don't look southern. However, not really anything more to work with. Nothing reliable, really. And it was
There you have it.
Wisconsin.
Frustration in the eyes of Mada as he takes a
And
loss on
we
that
have
one.
the
Looked really
Mario
good
hats.
initially.
And
But
the
then leave-
mustache. And the thumbs up.
Super Mario mustache on as
From
he goes to show.
Lendli, yeah, really hard. I mean, Lendli, I feel like he had a lot of these matches where he was really struggling on the first mode, the moving mode, and then just went over it and thought, okay, that was just moving, I'm gonna log in now. And that's also what happened here. So definitely something I feel like Lendli needs to improve on. Or he should just stay focused on his strengths, his no-move and NPC abilities, and clear out the games there.
Yeah, great game between the two here. Close matchup all the way to the very end of it. As we now go into the next game, straight into it. It's Lero versus Harrier. We've seen Harrier once today already up against Eamonn, who initially looked pretty much unbeatable. But then Eamonn was able to turn things around. Now he gets to go up against Lero.
Yes, and we start off, or
We have
start
sound?
off. They didn't start off, and we have sound. For
What?
a second, I was like thinking that's maybe you picking out your guitar and playing some, you know. But we do indeed have sound. Let's go. And we are in round 3 of this moving game, Lero versus Harrier. Not much happened here so far. Very equal health.
Sound is on, game is on between these two, even in health as well, as you say, into round 4 of game number 1. As we go towards South America once again.
Yeah, don't trust the Lima written on the shop because this is not Peru, this is Brazil. Both players are looking for an area code here, which is the most helpful clue. Especially in moving Brazil, you get those area codes pretty much everywhere. Can't pass a road without spotting an area code. Sometimes you also have the state abbreviations here and there. Seems like Harrier has found something for Maranhão because he is in there scanning for that town, and he did find it. It is written right there. Lero pretty far south in Maranhão. I mean, he is in the right state, but that will be definitely some good damage.
Huge.
For Harrier deals 2,332 damage, getting Lero to 3k.
Solid for Harrier. Able to separate himself a bit with that great guess. I mean, we have said it before. He's a great Brazil player. And here is proving it once again as we go to Guatemala. Lero just wants to make that get it over with. Small country, small points, doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I mean, the country itself isn't that small, but considering where the coverage is, it's mostly in the southern part. So yeah, that doesn't leave too much room. However, Harrier getting pretty much the right road there, but not really getting rewarded in a country like that. Just barely over 700 points.
And I guess, I mean, when you do log in that fast on the side of Lero, you're not expecting to come out victorious. And even if you do lose, taking 200 damage in round 5 there is not going to hurt you that hard.
Nope.
As we now get into round number 6, predictions have it going Harrier's way. We'll see if he is going to be the one out victorious in Colombia.
Yeah, it should be Colombia. We have some text on this sign. Don't really see a district name on it, or I might be blind. Maybe it does. It's saying Ministria de Transporte and then something. I can't really read it. But it also looks northern because it is pretty sandy. Yeah, dry looking. Usually a very mountainous country, Colombia. But if it's flat, you're usually either north or east. Or in a very big valley like the Cali Valley. It's pretty big as well. But yeah, usually you should spot some mountains. And we are back to Thailand.
Yeah.
So in Thailand, for me, it's like always looking for an area code. It's everything else I can't really use in Thailand.
Lero, again, don't want to waste too much time.
Yeah. It's going for that south guess, and as we also saw earlier, we have a lot of these palm trees, especially those thin palms.
Always nice when we learn something from one round and then we get to take it into the next one. But this time around, a little bit further down the peninsula than the other one. But it's going to be enough just exactly for Harrier to bring that one home. As he now sits 1-0 against Lero, coming in to no move. And again, I mean, of course, looking at, if you were to compare to his game against Eamonn, Harrier that is, he had an incredible move game, but then fell apart in no move and an NPC. So maybe for Lero, this is a chance for him to turn things around.
Yep, definitely. And looks like we are in Tasmania again. We have the possum guard that I mentioned earlier on the pole, as we see. It's like right under the lamp, this possum guard.
What is up with the repeat locations today? Triple Guatemala, double Panama, double Tasmania and Taiwan. I feel like these are locations we get once a month, and now we get them all in one day.
Today.
Yeah.
Getting them all out of the pool, so we will never see them again from now on, I guess.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what you did with Denmark last week. Aw.
Maybe.
That's
the sun is gone again. That is unlucky, but... there you go. I did summon it.
They're baiting us.
Oh, sometimes you just need to complain and, you know.
That's exactly it.
Thank you, production.
I've learned that from many years in Twitch chat. Just keep complaining and all those other
it
things
always works, definitely. It's definitely what you need to do. Yeah, we are in Nigeria. A lot of palms leads you to the south of the country. Especially with the greens around.
Yep.
Can be quite tricky to latitude guess sometimes.
Small damage though. But still able to keep floating, keep those multipliers stacking. As we go from one open road straight to one other. Got the double yellow lines in the middle.
But do you notice something about these lines? Because
they're further apart.
Yes, they are, exactly. And that's something you see a lot in Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, in that region of the country.
So South states.
Yes. You also have it in Oregon, but I hope you don't guess Oregon here. Surely not.
I was gonna make a rude joke, but I'm not going to.
But yeah, we should be somewhere. Then there it is, indeed, Texas. We have them both. Guessing the south. And that's good points by getting the right state. For Lero. Harrier telling himself there to lock in as we are in we are in Australia, Lero's home country. We have very red soil, which you usually associate with Western Australia.
Very quick guess here for Lero. Don't want to give Harrier any time to think this one over.
Yeah, he's a bit further south there.
It's going to be further off too. Playing it a bit too fast. Harrier, give him 15 seconds and he'll find the location.
Definitely, you did put this pressure on. Harrier did stay calm. Took those 15 extra seconds.
Harrier's proven that, I mean, even with limited time, that's not going to be what throws him off. Against Eamonn, it wasn't the fact that he didn't get time to get guesses, and it was more just, I mean, he was off on some of the guesses. It wasn't really time-related so much. It was more just a bad hunch, I suppose.
Definitely. On this matchup against Eamonn, I feel like most of the time it was very clear, the right rough region. And getting even more precise is what really got asked there. But look at that, Lero's right on it. And in a country like Russia, that will decide the game. Even
just like that. Big swing comes through. Lero makes it 1-1, and we now go into an NPC. As you said, that's what a round in big countries like that can do. you're off by what you feel like it's just a city or two, but just like that is 1,500 kilometers away from the actual location. And now we go in to an NPC. Still image. I'm gonna, I don't know, say France.
Image. Always a good default guess, honestly. If it looks like nothing, just go France.
My vibe is France.
Could
Lero is in.
see it.
Music is out.
Going Germany. You know what? Actually, it could be, but at the same time, Germany is also a very good hedge to cover all the countries around.
True. Go in the middle of Europe and you'll be somewhat safe.
I can respect that, but as I said, I don't know what the cover was.
It was
indeed, yeah. France.
I think this is the first broadcast ever I've had more hunch guesses be correct than wrong. I'm usually like 0 for 8. Now I think I'm 2 for 3.
I mean, hey, it's the experience. It's experience.
That is true. That is true. We all learn together.
Definitely. And we are
Ecuador,
in
instantly
Ecuador.
sent by Lero.
Yes, we have this poorer image quality. And in South America, that one is only in Ecuador. Hope it will stay that way because I don't want this to expand even more.
You don't want good camera quality down there too. It's gonna happen. I mean, as you know, everything, as we all know, everything is being updated every now and again. So eventually the whole world will be a full 4K, like Gen 4 coverage.
Yeah, at some point, hopefully. I mean, I wouldn't complain if it's maybe a country that didn't have any coverage at all, or some region. If you get the poorer camera quality, then you are happy to at least have something. But at the same time, for playing purposes, I don't really enjoy it. Because it's so hard to tell details in the locations.
True. Some distance in between the two here. One goes
again, we have this
Toronto.
modern vegetation that we also had earlier on the background. This time it was on the US side. Harrier closer from Canada. Picking up 300. Doing what we call an Eamonn. Eamonn known
Doing an Eamonn.
to get closer in the wrong country. It's a signature move. And what do we have here? 24. Again, a forest location. I want to say that this looks like Europe based on the pavement and how it's built. Besides that, it is quite difficult.
I like my statistic of being 2 for 3 so far. I'm just not gonna guess.
Yeah, you could also just go with the France shout and hope it is France again.
Yeah,
However,
I don't dare.
on this one, I don't have a strong feeling.
I don't dare. One is in Germany, one is in
Czechia.
Poland, it is in Czechia, just down towards the south. 1100 damage with that come through, and Harrier now sits himself with a bit of a lead, but we all know it. In NPC, leads don't really matter all that much, because just like that, you can get one round that swings it in complete opposite direction. As we get a nice sign there, but a little blurry. I'm not sure, I didn't get all the info on it.
No, I can't read it at all. Also can't really tell the architecture. Well, it is Germany.
Kontaktlinsen?
Yeah.
That's contact
It
lenses?
is German. We have German signs, but within Germany, what are these buildings? They look, I mean, it could be Western, but at the same time, there's not that much to work with here.
This is where, like, come on, just give me one zoom. Just give me one zoom to that sign, because you would have all the info that you need.
It will definitely have all the information you need.
Yep, they're
But
both
still,
on
it
the
seems
west
like
side
they
still.
are... But it's still a pretty far distance, given that they have the same sign. We have Harrier and Neuwied around Koblenz. So
further
maybe
towards
he has
the
some
south.
information to that, whereas Lero is in Cologne, I don't think. It is, and
Okay,
it
it
was
was
around
actually down
Neuwied.
towards the south. Harrier on point with this one, but again, I mean, close in distance. Not too much. 600 damage still. I mean, in any other game mode, sounds like a lot. But it just takes that one awkward NPC location, and that lead doesn't really matter anymore. This one, we'll see if that's going to be it, though, as maybe not. Lero.
It
going-
is India, but it is one of the easier India locations. Those palm trees and these fences are very common around that border to Bangladesh, where they are around Assam. These, yeah, what are called Assam fences are very common there, so they should either both end up there and it's somewhere else, or they both end up there and is actually there.
They go hand in hand, a little bit of a distance in between them. Sets Harrier up even further ahead now with a 3.5k lead. But let's see now where this one's going to take us.
This should be Russia with that mile marker there. And the gas pipes going overground.
Is there any definite region region information on screen right now?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, so I'm going to call it now. This could very easily be game, especially if Lero keeps hovering further to the east. 4 times multiplier. Even for Harrier, losing out on this one, should Lero be on point, that is easily going to be game.
Yep. For now, I like Lero's guess more. It looks like Kazan to me. But that is a purely...
fingers crossed for Harrier.
Based guess, so I
Just
could
on the
see a
eastern
lot
side
more.
of Moscow. He's looking to go even further east with this.
Yeah, he's
zooming
maybe
in
looking
and
for a
out.
risk since he's behind on health. And
It's right in between the two.
Yeah,
That could have been so dangerous.
definitely.
So incredibly dangerous, but almost, I mean, this is practically as little damage as can be done in a route like that when they're so far apart. But almost right in between the two. Keeps Harrier in the lead, coming into round number 8, where, according to statistics, Lero now has the upper hand in Argentina.
Yeah, he also had his guess down immediately. Didn't send it immediately. He was like double checking it. I do like the northern guesses. It looks very northern. In Argentina, we have an Argentina pole right there. Together with the flatness, it does make sense to be somewhere around that.
Closer.
And we are in the Chaco province. They both end up guessing it. Harrier committing a bit more towards the northwest. Losing a little bit of his lead, but still.
Yeah. I said the small damages don't really matter in NMBC. That's mainly because it's very rare that we actually take NMBC all the way to round number 10. But now, of course, it's a case where it does matter, especially if we get Bolivia into another smaller country, at least coverage-wise. It's looking difficult for Lero to get the points needed to surpass Harrier, unless if he goes out and make a massive mistake. But this is a good round to start things off.
That's good. That is
80
good. If
kilometers
he can
between
pick
the
up
two.
1.4, it could still turn it around in round 10, even if the country is
Definitely.
obvious. You can still win.
Definitely. Let's see now where we're headed. Round number
Lero
10.
Here, and it looks like we are back in Germany by the looks. We have a yellow town entry sign, which will also give you the Landkreis. And Harrier does know the Landkreise, the districts in Germany.
Lero
Very
needs
specific guess from
1,300
Lero.
points.
We have quite the hills, which does make sense for the Freiburg region down there.
He's feeling it.
I don't know if Harrier is
Zooming in.
able to read the sign. He really hopes to
Harrier's
make it
further
out.
towards the north.
If it ends up being all the way southwest, Lero will be able to turn it around.
Oh, easily.
If he's on it.
Easily. He only needs, what, 70 kilometers or
And
so.
he's
It's gonna
right
be
in
close,
between.
this one.
Is that gonna be enough?
It's gonna be incredibly close. No, it's not gonna be enough.
That
He
is
stays
a
on
very,
point.
very close shout.
I take it back.
Oh my God.
When I said 600 damage doesn't matter in a game of NMBC, this right here is exactly why it does. 200 points between the two, and Lero falls in round 10.
Yes, you definitely have to be on it in this case. Lero did have a very good region guess, but it just wasn't enough to turn that game around. Unfortunately for him, but still a very good game and very well played by Harrier once again.
Definitely. Definitely. That puts an end to the third bracket of today's game, so we can see that Swan Gambit was able to take on Spaget, win that one 2-1, and Pan winning yet another one, this time around against Anu, getting himself his second win on the day. And now, in just a short moment, we are going to go up against, back to Mada, and then get to see him up against Japanese in Spaget, who has been playing pretty well so far this tournament. We'll see if he has what it takes to take him down. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, it's time for Spaget versus Mada.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup. Denmark. Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings. World-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably. I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.
The final set of games are about to come up for our broadcast here today, but not the broadcasts today, because there are going to be even more games played later tonight, which you can look forward to watching. We're going to get Spaget up against Mada in just a couple of seconds. Of course, I'm Toby, joined by Gelotris, for those of you guys just tuned in now. And Gelotris, as we get into the Spaget versus Mada matchup, let's just look back real quickly at some of the games we've seen today so far. What have your thoughts been on the matches we've seen?
We had some way quicker games than I did expect, especially on some games where I thought it's even, especially to start off with the Zigzag Finbarr game. Just starting off the day with that. I thought it's gonna go into NPC because they are both very strong, but Zigzag speedran that one. And we also had that on Harrier's game, so yeah, not much games where it went as I expected from the pace. True. But on this one, Spaget versus Mada, especially looking at these guessing times, 39 seconds and 34 seconds, maybe both a bit slower on the guessing time, so maybe this could take a little bit longer. Besides that, the statistics look kind of equal, I would say.
Now, one thing that I would say could potentially go against Mada, because they both come into this game with a loss in today's matches. Spaget lost against Swan Gambit just now, before playing this game, and Mada lost against Lendli 10 minutes prior. Now, I will say, I feel like Mada is more of a player where losses will stick to him, and Spaget, to me, seems like more of a player that can kind of shake them off, just go next game, you know? So hopefully Mada comes into this game with head held high and motivated to go out and get himself a win As we do get this game going. Straight into round 1, game 1. Spaget sends us to the east side of Florida. We'll see if Mada follows suit.
I do agree. Mada is definitely one of the more passionate gamers, which really can affect your mental while playing. It is indeed
It's in Florida. A bit further down towards Fort Myers, though. So, small damage. Small damage. I mean, we say that. We saw in the previous game how much impact small damage can have.
It can matter. Never discount them because you never know what's gonna end up on. So we are in Malaysia here. We have the flag as well. They are both looking at it. I don't know if it will contain. We have some area codes. It seems like a lot of oil palms makes you think maybe more the northern side, especially with how hilly it is. Yeah, the northern side of Borneo, Sabah, does make sense to me.
They're both up there. At least initially. I'm not sure if Spaget actually, I mean, you can see he's hovering around on the map. Is he looking for, maybe he had some city info on that sign? Selamat datang ke. I'm not sure what that means, whether it's just hello, welcome to our city, or if it's actually the name of a location.
Yes,
Selamat Mada is way out in the forest.
Selamat datang means welcome. I mean, the ending could be an abbreviation for a place, but also on the bottom, after the zip code, there's some place name. So they are looking for that currently, I would assume. It maybe said Nebawan, yeah? He's on it.
Could have. Very well could have. And, well, the location is off screen. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it's going to be 500 damage done to Spaget nonetheless. So, staying together. Round 1 goes one way, round 2 goes the other. As we now head into round number 3.
We do indeed, and we are in the US by the looks. We have the yellow lines, short license plates. There's a church nearby. Could contain some information. Don't know if it's enough for them to work it out. By the looks, it looks more like the western side of the country with those large pines. But besides that, I don't really see anything too useful. Now we have these white lines I was talking about earlier. And now it is Oregon with that.
Now we know. Take notes, chat. So you don't end up in Oregon when you want it to be in Nevada.
Could happen.
California, or whatever that was in the previous round. Looking for additional info. You'd have to imagine that there's been quite a bit of info available so far that they could go off of, but of course they want to get the exact location down. If you're going to take all the time anyway, you might as well see what more you can find. They're both pretty much on top of one another, and yeah, equally far from the exact location. 64 damage. Shout out to Super Mario.
Yeah, guessing around Eugene is always a very good hedge, as we call it in GeoGuessr terms. Hedging just means covering a lot of possible areas of possibilities. Yeah, and now we are in Australia. We had some circular reflectors on the bollards, which you see a lot in South Australia and Queensland, but by how sandy it is, it should be South Australia, somewhere along the coastline.
Mada clearly feeling pretty good about this guess. We'll see if it's gonna pay off for him. Spaget zooming all the way into Port Victoria, trying to see if there's a road that lines up for him. Doesn't opt to change last minute, and Mada, good reason he felt good about it. On point with this one. 2,700 damage done to Spaget.
Yeah, Spaget was considering that other peninsula right next to it.
Mada.
Not further. He's happy, of course.
This is
but
beautiful.
That guess, it is looking pretty. Some very clear blue water. And we have a B-type guardrail, which are these flat guardrails. They are not like rounded, and that's something you see a lot in Croatia, which would make sense to me here. Yeah, Mada just going somewhere in the middle, covering a lot of places. However, Spaget is getting to a sign which could have the needed information. We have split in Herceg Novi. Herceg Novi is in Montenegro, so we should be closer to Montenegro here if we have it on the sign already.
We'll see if he's gonna get it. They're gonna be somewhat close to one another for sure.
On the border, pretty much.
Yep. Could have been even bigger damage come through had he opted to commit further southeast, but he didn't get his map open before there was like 5-6 seconds left to work with, so limited how much you could really maneuver around. As we're now going to route number 7, or 6, sorry, make that, with Mada still ahead.
Yeah, definitely we have some French language on that. Couple informations here. We have a town sign. We also have the famous D road, which you never can really work with, but if you have a good vibe, if you know the rough region, you can still scam for it. You can get lucky.
Let's just say that to the viewers real quickly, because I get baited by it all the time. Just because you see a D road and you find the D road in France, they have them all over the place. Like, there can be D15, like 200 of them in France. So don't be fooled by the fact that you found the D road, as Mada once again is on point. Good thing for Spaget is that he was in the nearby vicinity too, because that could have been very, very uncomfortable.
Definitely. So as I've mentioned, if you get the right vibe, you can look for the road number, and that's what Mada did. Getting very, very close there. As we move on to the next round, we have the Turkey round, actually.
5K, I'm ready to load, just give it to us.
Of course.
Oh.
Let me read the signs a little bit more so I can give you a vibe guess.
Okay.
Well, it's saying Bursa and Kestel. Kestel is east of Bursa, and Inegöl is also east of Bursa. So we should be somewhere in between that, and that's where Mada is right now. Spaget didn't really go to that sign. He did stick to those signs. 1900
health, 4 times multiplier. This could potentially be game 1 to Mada. We'll see. Does he line it up perfectly? He might have.
There. He's very, very close. I think it was just one road over, and that will be enough to close out the game. Spaget did stay too long on those overwhelming Edward signs, which usually don't contain the best information in Turkey, because, yeah, they usually, maybe you will find an area code, but usually they don't contain the city names.
Mada is bobbing his head so hard while playing. I'm curious what his playlist is, because he's feeling very, very good about this one. I was concerned with his mental going into this game, but after that great guess in Australia that was earlier, you could just tell on his face, like the way he was smiling, he was feeling very, very confident. And for good reason. Now he's up 1-0. We'll see if he can continue this against Spaget.
Yeah, and we are in a sandy desert. We are in Oman, somewhere inland, because the mountains are north and far south in the country, so we should be somewhere in between. Could still be pretty far south, because the mountains start very late only on the coast. Well, actually, there is a mountain ridge on Spaget's screen far north, so it could be a bit further north. So let's see where it ends up being. For now, I like Spaget's guess more based on that. But you can always have some random hills here and there.
Definitely could. We'll see if he's going to be on point. Not quite the case. Mada swings hard in round number 1. 1100 damage comes through. Spaget, of course, I mean, never count him out. He was the first player, I believe, in the Pro League to get a win off of Blinky. Blinky won 12 games in a row to kick off the Pro League season. And Spaget, I believe, was it you and I casted it? I believe it was, or was it me and Siggy? It just came in and, I mean, just bish, bash, bosh. Blinky was down and we were left completely jaw-dropped going, wait, what just happened?
Yep.
So do not count out Spaget.
Not at all. Not a single player in this league, I would say. It's always possible that these upsets can happen.
Yep.
They do happen a lot. Especially in a game like GeoGuessr, where you always need a little bit of luck on your side. It is a part of the game. And in
might
this
want it, but Mada clearly doesn't need it right now. He's playing incredibly well once again. 2 rounds in, Spaget already sat at under half health. This is looking to be a very quick 2-0 for Mada. But again, we've jinxed that so many times at this point that I'm very terrified of trying to claim things at this point.
This time we should be in Kazakhstan. This looks like somewhere in the middle to me. We don't have the wire on the left, down there where Spaget is looking right now. He's looking for it. If you don't have it, we are not in the west. So we could be somewhere in the middle or in the east. The eastern side has more of a fall coverage. Therefore, we should be somewhere in the center. The south has most of the times winter coverage. And by ruling out all these areas, yeah, we should be somewhere east of Astana. Now it's a matter of lining up the road and finding the right alignment.
See who's gonna get it first. 15 seconds still left to work with. Neither of these guys wanting to lock in their guesses early on. 10 seconds now. Spaget, again, I mean, only round 3, but really wants to start take some health off of Mada. Should this one go all the way down to round number 10. Neither of them are going to lock it in. They're both going to let the time run out. And it is going to be Spaget closer, as a matter of fact. Almost a 5k, 1 point off, but they were both on the road. They were both in the vicinity. So even if you win this one, it's still only going to be 8 points of damage.
Yeah, especially on a round like that, it's common to see that the players will let the timer run out because they use that time to still look for a better alignment where it all fits perfectly. Definitely time needed there, but we are back to Germany once again.
Yeah,
and once again, the sign is just slightly far away.
Exactly. In Germany again, too. Like, guys, make those signs bigger. We need to see what it says.
I think Alsbach, Atzbach, something like that. I don't know.
Cannot tell. Let's see. Both of them, neither of them could tell, it seems, as it was. As a matter of fact, over towards where the guest came through in the Harrier round just moments ago. Over towards Cologne on the far western side. As, again, Mada able to stay afloat. Just 8 damage done to him so far. But now, we go into the vast open plains of where?
Well, I was expecting you to tell me where this road is.
Oh, of course, it's in Arizona.
Yeah? Wow, how did you know?
I'm just a genius. It's not at all because I waited for Mada to put it on down his mouse.
Well, they are both considering
I like how
something.
I got you there for a second. Like, wait, what? You know this?
Well, we have the sun in the south again. We also had that early on the other US round, where you can sometimes mix it up with countries like North Mexico can look like the US. You can have Argentina looking like the US as well. But in this case, especially with this tree on the side, it looks very American.
Yeah.
And
Utah, Colorado,
these dry
Wyoming
opens,
border.
yeah. You can have them in a lot of those states, which got hedged there. Feels a bit more southern with the shrubs, to me.
See, Spaget needs a win here. He's not gonna get it though. It's gonna be Mada once again. It's not gonna hit hard, but it's gonna be enough to set him right on death's door. Mada sat 1-0 already, practically flawless here through this game. Spaget needs something big to turn this one around, and I'm afraid this won't be the place you get it.
So we have what? We have a brick building. We have some rolling hills. The eastern side of Belgium could make sense. It could be the UK with brick buildings. Hey, Toby, it could be even Denmark, which I don't think here.
No, we don't have those fences.
But
all those
with
hills
the, I mean, with those 3
we don't have
clues
those
I had
fences.
mentioned, but yeah, these fences.
If this is Denmark, I would be surprised.
I don't think so. Especially that one building with the chimneys on the side. I think that's
But now I have
more
to take
of
it
a
into
thing.
account that it could be.
Don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
No, it should be the UK, especially with the building on the right, where the chimneys
Spaget is
are
gonna
on
hit
either
shit.
side of the building. Exactly that Spaget is looking on.
When in
That
doubt,
is
go in
something.
between 4 countries. I like
It
it.
should be British Isles here.
Yeah.
And it is just in the middle of England.
It's a big one. Mada committed. He was the one to get the win off of it, and that's going to be a 2-0
And he's
win
putting
as
on
Mada
the
now
glasses.
embracing the glass meta that
Italian
Lendli
glasses.
put to use. Got himself the Italian
As well, he's looking
spectacles
cold.
on there, and would you look at that, Mada
Love that.
out victorious, looking as confident as ever.
Love to see that. Mada, I mean, in this case, very, very well-deserved win. I mean, Mada played this one pretty much perfectly, especially on the moving game. He was always on point, but also the moving game. No move game was very strong on his side, so very well-deserved 3 points there, yeah.
That's going to be the next thing we get in this game. We get player celebration emotes in the game. It's like when a football player scores a goal, they go out and do like their own unique dances. We're going to start getting that in the game soon as well, with how these guys are feeling after their wins. But great game between the two here. Spaget, I mean, never really seemed to be in control in this matchup. Mada, despite losing to Lendli earlier, played with full confidence through the entirety, really, of this game. But I feel like it really started after that great Australia round. I think it was round 2 or round 3 in the moving game. You can just tell in his face, like, now he's feeling it. And when Mada is feeling good, as you know, Geologist, he's very hard to beat.
It's always hard to tell are they feeling good about their guesses, or are they just vibing to their music they are listening to? Because you see a lot of players just bumping their head, even though there's no round on, they are waiting for the next round. You see them being hyped and shaking their heads. So I think everyone has their own, game music, I want to say. And that might be the reason there.
From one good head bobber over to arguably the head bobber, it's Finbarr versus Yanik. Finbarr's playlist goes deep, and we'll see now if he's gonna be able to bring it to fruition as he goes up against Yanik. He lost against Zigzag earlier today, but now he gets a chance to bring home some points here on this day of GeoGuessr World League. Stats-wise, they're talking into Finbarr's favor. He's a little slower in guessing, but when he guesses, he's more precise.
Definitely Finbarr. I feel like he wasn't really locked in on the first game. That wasn't the Finbarr we know. That wasn't the Finbarr I was expecting to see. It was pretty early, maybe he did get some more games in the last couple of hours, maybe locking in a little bit more, and let's see if they will, or if he will have different guesses on this one, which we are more used to.
Instantly, we're into the US, it would seem. Yanik feels good about Wyoming. We'll see if Finbarr joins him. It's the leprechaun versus the hot dog. I like this matchup. We need player mascots now as well.
True. Well, we have seen a couple of glasses now. It wasn't only Mada and Lendli. Last week it was Swan Gambit was also putting on the glasses. Let's see if at the final week we will see them all putting
Everyone's wearing sunglasses. It's going to be like poker, where everyone is wearing glasses and hats and whatnot to make sure that other people can't tell what their eyes are saying.
You will never know. What is this? It looks very flat, and we have those tile roofs. I would assume we are somewhere in North Java, where you have these flat parts, and I really like Yanik's guess there, especially in that area. You can see those flat parts in Indonesia. Finbarr still looking for some signs. He does spot one.
That's all he needed.
It enough time to use it? I don't think so.
They're practically on top of one another anyway. Given that it's round 2, it's going to be minimal damage, even if they're equally far from the location, which it proved to be. 40 damage done. As a little waving hand comes from Finbarr, saying, "Hi, nice to meet you here on Java."
Yeah, that was a type of location where you definitely know there are more flat areas along the coast, but given the chance, the most is where they both ended up. You already know. My opponent might also have guessed there. Let me also do that, not try something funny. And we are in Brazil now. Again, those area codes they are hunting for. Seems like Yanik found something on that small truck. Finbarr still looking for it. He has something there. Finds it. Was it really something Yanik found, or was it a vibe guess? I think he found something, but they both end up around the same region.
Yeah, close to the location, both of them. Finbarr able to strike back, albeit only 90 points worth of striking. As we take it into round number 4, those multipliers will keep on stacking as we go up into the mountains, or at least into the valley in between them.
Yeah, and we are back in Peru, and I must say, all of the Peru locations we had today were in the Amazonas section of Peru, where it's a bit more green. And seems like we are here as well. However, this time it is a bit more difficult to region guess. You know, we had those coin flips earlier where it was either that one road north of Tarapoto or down south, because it was very flat. However, if it's mountainous, it can be a lot more places. So let's see. We have information here available. Finbarr did find it as well, and Yanik is still looking for it, but didn't get the right information there. And by getting that, that's bringing Yanik down to half HP.
Big hit from Finbarr. I could tell as soon as he locked in, he was bobbing his head in a way that had me guessing, you know what? He feels pretty good about that one, and for good reason. Able to take half his health bar off. Yanik now sat at a deficit here in round 5.
Hey, if you see the town on the sign and you find it on the map, that is definitely a reason to head bump. It feels right, and you know you're right. And we are in Ecuador now. We have those Ecuadorian bollards. In Ecuador, you can kind of use some bollards to region guess. However, this one is very generic, so that won't help here. We are in a somewhat urban environment again. We see the town in a valley, I think, down there. Not sure which one it is. Finbarr plunking in the middle of a volcano there. Okay, he's adjusting his spin.
You know, I mean, it could be a world that we aren't aware of. I'm not quite sure, but glad that he opted to leave it. He wants to maintain this lead, not throw it away, but jumping into a volcano.
Yeah, well, we have a big volcano right southeast of us, so he's just probably thinking, which one is this?
True.
But it was just another one. I mean, I don't know how many volcanoes there are in Ecuador, but getting the right one isn't the easiest job.
For sure. For sure. Finbarr able to stay ahead. Yanik now continuously taking these hits, needing something going his way here in round number 6.
Exactly, and we are in Japan. We have them looking at the polls, of course, always helpful in this country. I didn't see it. Okay, it is a Tohoku, or is it a Niigata? Late. Yeah, we have a Niigata guess from Finbarr.
Even with the right region down, it's still quite tricky, especially with 3.5 times multipliers. Let's see what's going to happen. Where that is, Yanik is going to be the one close this time around. Very swift with his guess here too. 2,000 damage done. Even if you have a good poll, it's not always going to be enough.
No, it was the right region. They both are in the Hokuriku region of Japan. But getting the right side of it can be quite difficult. A lot of times as we go over to this round, we have those yellow side lines, which you see in a lot of the African countries. In this case, we should be in South Africa. We get a lineup there from Yanik. It looks very deserty, very sandy, which you see a lot in the northern central section of South Africa, in Kuruman and Uppington. So let's see where they end up.
Finbarr still going up the road looking for info he's never gonna get. It would seem now lining up the road, but only 2 seconds left to work with. Zooming out to potentially change his guess up a bit. He did last second readjust, and because of that, it's gonna cost him. Not too heavily, but still I say that with 4 times multipliers. These do hit heavily. Finbarr now down under 1k.
Yeah, Yanik committing all the way towards that region of Uppington and got rewarded very well for that. Especially in South Africa on main roads, it always makes sense to move because the main roads have good signage, good mile markers. So even though it looks empty, you can stumble up on something, which wasn't the case there. Here we have a pretty straightforward round. It is Ghana, and it is very green.
Players rejoice.
Oh, but however, we have a Kumasi is in the northwestern. Okay, Finbarr is on the right road. That road has a very long stretch though. But he is right on it. He was playing with us there because... Oh, would you look at that.
Had he clicked just a bit further north, that would have been game, but it's not to be. This one is as close as they really come here in round 9.
And I was complaining about only green Peru. Now we are in dry mountains.
This couldn't be any better. You know what? This is scary for Yanik. He didn't zoom in that far to get the guess, and if he's off the road by a bit, that could be the difference maker in whether he stays alive here or not.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like when you're both so low on health, when you both find the city instantly,
they both know.
Is it gonna be enough? It's 3 kilometers. Nope, not at all. I got scared for a second there because I thought maybe had he spent a little extra time locking it in perfectly, knowing that they both had the instant info. And that could have been dangerous, but not quite to be. He stays alive at 146.
Yeah, but now it will definitely be game for someone. And especially on a country like this, we are in Cambodia. It is mountainous, so I think it's southwest. I would assume they both end up there, but there's still room to win for either side. But it is Finbarr locking it in, getting that win on the moving game against Yanik.
I like the idea of playing fast, but in an area where, I mean, you instantly have the intel, it's so incredibly dangerous. Especially when you're up against a guy like Finbarr, who usually doesn't really get pushed too hard by your opponent putting pressure on you. So we'll see now if the playstyle changes as we go into game number 2. Finbarr up 1-0. We are into no move.
Yeah, there's a lot of decision making you have to think through while playing moving games, definitely. However, we are in no move. They will see the same things. because they cannot move around the corner, and it looks like we have some winter coverage in Russia, which is from Moscow all the way to the south and a bit more east of that region. And they both are scanning in that area. Finbarr still looking for those tiny details. I've mentioned it already. Finbarr is one of the best Russia players. He did put a lot of work into it, did write a document on how to region guess it. Now let's see what he does here. Yanik is lining up a grid in Lipetsk, which is also one of these towns with winter coverage.
He's very confident in his guessing here, Yanik. Not really changing anything last second. Was further towards the west, though. Nonetheless, it's going to be him closer. 300 damage done. Small hit. But, of course, it's early days. It's round 1. So not too much. But, again, always got to feel good momentum-wise and everything to take a round off of Finbarr in Russia.
Definitely. And this road looks very familiar to me. Is it Zinjan or the Bing? Yeah, I like the Binger, yes. It could be South Elazig as well. Well, we have eastern lines, which we see here. If the roads are only divided by no guardrails, no nothing, just lines, and are seamless, that's something you see more on the eastern side of Turkey.
Are we lining up 5K? So at that point, are there too many areas that look like this?
Well, it could be 3 regions. It could be Sivas, Erzincan, or down there at Bingöl. Those are the 3 regions that you consider with these looks.
For those of you viewers who are newer to the game, as you can see, whenever they're staring into the ground, they're lining up the compass, pointing the compass north, seeing the direction of the road to try and pinpoint the exact curvature on the map. Obviously, Google Maps being straight north-south. It's sometimes possible. In this case, it might not be. Nope, neither of them found it, but close enough.
Was the road south of Bingöl? I mean, in this case, you need to know camera generations because the road Finbarr clicked on is in Gen 4, so he could have ruled out that road by knowing and assuming that the main road has Gen 4 coverage.
I love it. Instantly just plonk.
I have to guess shame him a little bit there, but we move on to South Korea, where you commonly see those instant plonks because one of the least region guessable countries. Also, not really something people like to study because it is fairly small. So the amount of time you have to put in to learn it, to how much points you can gain off it is
multipliers should be depending on country size. Now that would be something.
That is a terrible idea.
Making Denmark relevant.
That is a terrible idea. Because, I mean, the idea seems logical, but at the same time you have to consider that small countries are just super random to guess because they just look alike.
The rare Vatican for 1 million damage. I would be all for it. Let's see now. It's this one. Finbarr waving out in the ocean to Yanik, who's also sailing on a boat. It was down towards the south, but neither of these two are going to really take a whole lot of damage off of that. As they now sit 1,000 health apart. Finbar's up 1-0. Yanik would really want to get some momentum going here.
Yes, and we are in Malaysia again on the Borneo side. With that pole extender, we should be in the Sarawak province. And it is all the way down there near Kuching. Interesting, makes sense with how mountainous it was, but you can have them where they guessed as well, of course. And definitely the players plan to cover more possibilities as we move on to another turkey round. This
you are being blessed with the turkey round today.
I wish I would be playing.
Give me that 5k. Give me that 5k. I'm ready for it, Geoguessr.
Well,
you got the city, you got everything.
Yeah, I mean, on this location it's pretty boring. We have Kastamonu, Champasak, Sinop. We should be central north. Yeah. Or not central north, but more like northwest.
And you got the bridge, you got the river, you got 6 city names. Is it 5kable in the time span that they have available now?
It is pretty much.
What are they hovering for here? What are they scanning for? Is it the exact city name? Because as you can see, whenever Yanik zoomed in there's a lot of them. Finbarr might have found something.
After you have those towns given on the sign, you work out which cities are in between those two. And then you
might
line
have
up
something. He might just have it indeed. I think he does. Yes, there you have it. 5k for Finbarr. Feeling good about that one.
Yeah, definitely something Yanik could have avoided, because if you have a sign to Casamono, you can pretty much rule it out. So you pretty much only have to look at the big cities that aren't given on the signs. And Jide, where it was one of them. As we move over to this round, we should be somewhere in Kenya, in a park, I would assume, with this Google car. And we do have Finbarr, considering the national park down there. Yanik a bit further west, and with a bit further west, I mean way further west.
Some distance in between the two. 15 seconds left to work with. Neither of them really too eager to get the guess in here. Yanik, of course, playing on a back foot. Sat down 2,500 health so far. Still a lot of micro readjustment from the both of them. Now Yanik starting to look for roads specifically, but feeling good about this A1.
Interesting, because we had just...
Good thing he didn't go further north.
Nope. Interesting, we are on the Kenya label, because I did assume we would see the Mount Kenya from there. Which is something they also looked out for, I feel like, because you saw them zooming out all the time, or zooming in.
Yeah.
Looking for that mountain. But neither of them did spot it as we go over to this round back in Russia. And this time Finbarr on 4.5x is a scary opponent to face on a location like this. Yanik going all the way south here, really risking it.
Especially with how quickly Finbarr zoomed into the region. You just know if he's confident, there's got to be something to it. We'll see if maybe it's a blunder for him, maybe it won't be. Indeed it won't be. He's going to be on point. Is it going to be enough though? No, not quite. No, just exactly. Stays alive. You can see it in Finbarr going, oh, damn it, I thought I had him there. But no. Yanik, my man, you got to set up a comeback now.
Listen, it is the second time today where those little points that you gained along the duel do matter to stay alive. And especially now with another Russia round. You can turn it around, but not against Finbarr. Not against Finbarr. However, here we could see them both going on the right road, but on 5 times multi, if it's a long road, you can still be on the right road and close it out.
You want the big country like this, but when you're Yanik, you don't want Russia against Finbarr. I mean, 90 points. That's what? That's 200 meters distance in between their guesses, maybe 300, I'm not sure, but it's gonna be incredibly close. Yanik, you have to win this one. There's practically no way that you lose this round and still stay alive, especially considering that we're coming into round 10 after it.
It's interesting, Finbarr is looking for a white road, however Yanik is only scanning yellow roads. And it is indeed, and Finbarr does 5k it.
What? What a way to win it!
This game, wow. He was so sure it's a white road. It looked like a main road to me, but Finbarr is just him. He knows everything that we don't know, and sometimes that's needed to close up the game. All you can do for Yanik
is smile. You go like, bro, I'm up against like the Russia expert, and he gets 3 freaking Russia rounds in 1 game of no move.
Yeah, not something
what are you supposed to do?
Nothing to do.
And that's where we talked about getting I mean, again, you need some luck. And the luck here being that sometimes you just get a lot of locations that play into what you know the most about. And for this, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Finbarr get blessed with as many, not just Russia rounds, but Russia rounds that he clearly knew very identically that were maybe hard for other, even pro players to get the gist of. That round could not have played more into Finbarr's favor than it did. But having said that, of course, that is still purely skill related, because it's because of him that he gets it going this way, because he's so incredibly good at guessing that country.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what it's looking like for today. We had some amazing matches, but stay here, because Finbarr will be live with us in a couple seconds.
In just a second. Anu, in the meantime, as we can see, beat Satsu 2-1, and then Lero able to turn things around against Swan Gambit, get himself a 2-0 victory against him. So Swan Gambit losing 2 games today, but able to win one against Spaget. as well. Good turnaround there for him in the middle. We are now going to get ready here for an interview with the winner of that previous game, Finbarr. Is going to be joining us in just a moment. But before that, let's take a look at the standings and how today's matches have changed things up. Zigzag with his wins, surpassing Finbarr by 1 point. Lendli jumping into the top 10 here as well, as Fenip and Lero fly up the leaderboard a bit as well. Mada also climbing, and so is Anu. So a lot of movement after today's games here.
We do have some movements, but I think especially for Lendli, I feel like getting into this top 10 threshold just feels very satisfying.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, for me, I would say, even though there's no difference in being top 11 or 10 in this grand of themes, but it just feels good for the mental to know you made it to the top 10.
Definitely.
And let's see how that will turn out. And yeah, we could also talk about the last game with Finbarr and Yanik. We had a lot of Russia for Finbarr. And I don't know, how do you feel about it? Is it something you can complain about? Because I don't know, I see a lot of people who get upset when players get the country a lot they are good at. But at the same time, I'm thinking this week they did put, I mean,
exactly.
It's like saying you get good at it.
It's like saying you can't play move against Blinky because he knows too much. And it's like, bro, it doesn't work like that. They get credited for what they're good at. And that's the only way to do it. If you want to beat them in their games, well, then get better at the locations they know than they are. And that way you'll do it. So let me just shut that one down instantly. They're good, and therefore they increase their odds of getting locations they're good at. So now with that, let's get on over. Let's get this interview rolling with Finbarr. Welcome, Finbarr. Saw your head bobbing there. Feeling good after that last win?
Yeah, of course.
Talk to me a bit about this match. We were just talking about it. You, of course, being coined the Russia expert, able to get, I believe, 3 Russia rounds in one no-move game, 5K'ing 2 of them. Were they, to you, obvious locations, or like did you feel like you really had the upper hand in this matchup?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were obvious. Like, I was confident I knew them, but I wouldn't say they were obvious, if you get me.
Yeah, I know, I get what you're saying. That's what we were just talking about, too, how, I mean, some people say, oh, Finbarr is getting all the Russia rounds, and we're saying, yes, but, I mean, he gets them because, I mean, he gets the reward, or you get the reward from them because you're so incredibly good at it. It was a joy to watch. Outside, of course, of getting a couple of Russia rounds going your way, how did you see the match as a whole? Were there any moments where, like, oh, I should have had more points? Like, any specific rounds that stood out to you?
Yeah, there was definitely a few. The Malaysia in the no move, I thought, my first thought was Kuching, but then I didn't see any mountains, so I didn't click Kuching. But that was like the main one, I guess. Yeah.
Any questions from you, Gelotris?
I would like to talk about the first game, which wasn't really in your favor.
Yeah.
What would you say? What was the problem? Was it the skill issue, or was it some mental issue, or some coin flips that you didn't hit? What was it?
I have a pretty good cope for that game, so there's a storm going over my city, so I didn't get much sleep last night because of the wind. So in between the Zigzag and the Yanik game, I got another 2 hours of sleep, so it helped out.
No, because that was something I predicted. You didn't really feel locked into me, so I felt like there was something. So those days happen. Still good that you get win after that nap, after that power nap of 2 hours, and I'm happy that you could make up for it.
I want to hear, though, I mean, I know for now we're kind of laughingly blaming it on lack of sleep, but I would also say Zigzag played a much faster play style than not only what he's used to playing himself in competitive play, but also than what most people play. Is that something that you work on playing against, or can you say safely, like, you don't mind how fast your opponent plays, whether it's, you know, MK speeds or slow players? Is there one type of opponent you're better or worse going up against? Because you obviously take a little more time usually in your guessing.
Yeah, I would say I'm like one of the... I'd be above average in terms of moving ability in the World League, so I do like to take my time. And I think people know that, so they insta-send against me, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm usually fine against insta-senders. Like, I beat MK in a moving game when I got against him towards the start of the World League. And yeah, today just wasn't my day for Zigzag, I guess.
I mean, it happens. It happens. There's a lot of games still left to be played. But now I want to ask you real quickly before we let you go. now that we're 2/3, or you are 2/3 of the way done in the tournament so far, is there anything you see in how your progress has been through the first 2/3 of the way, and what you look to maybe not change, but anything in particular like you're looking to hone in on in the last third of the matches, now that it's really getting interesting with the leaderboard and all?
I think I've just been playing the same. I haven't really been changing too much, I guess. It's just been the same strategy all throughout, I guess.
Sounds good. Any final shout-outs you want to do to the viewers out there? Any leaks on the head-bobbing playlists that are going through years as we're seeing you play? I think I saw a little bit of singing along as well at one point, too.
Yeah.
What's been happening in the headset today?
Shout out to Gracie Abrams for
There you
making
go.
some good music. Yeah, that's my shout
Good
out.
stuff. Good stuff. It's all good, man. All good. Thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on the win here against Yanik. It was a very, very good game. Nice to see all of your intel on Russia coming to fruition, because you're looking incredibly good playing today.
Thank you, thank you.
That's it for Finbarr. Thanks to him for joining us. And thanks, of course, for all of you viewers out there staying, watching, supporting, and helping all the new viewers when they come in as well. It's amazing that we have such a good community being so kind. Geologers, any last remarks here for you for today before we round up this broadcast?
Not really. I mean, I've mentioned it during the day, where looking back at the scores and the final results don't matter at all. You have to be here, you have to watch those games, and you have to know what happened. And a lot of predictions or games I predicted just went the complete opposite way than what I was expecting to see. So yeah, that's always fun, and that's the beauty, I would say, of this game, where you never really know what's happening.
Definitely is. Now, of course, we've shown you the leaderboards, we've shown you the standings and everything, but we haven't really, today at least, talked too much about what these guys are playing for. They're all trying to make it to the World Cup Finals in August, but before that, they have to finish the World League, and then, if they don't qualify through there, play through the majors. We saw them announced earlier this month. It's gonna be APAC, happening in Japan. Americas will taking place in Dallas, and then the EMEA major in the middle of June will take place in Jönköping. All amazing events I'm super excited to see. And of course, as announced, the World Cup Finals will take place in the last weekend of August in Copenhagen, Denmark. You can already now go in and get your tickets on geoguessr.com/World Cup. Not only that, but you can help increase the prize pool of the tournament by simply subscribing here on Twitch. And fear not, you're not just giving money to the pros, you're getting cool emotes with it, and you get into the raffle of getting yourself a GeoGuessr goodie bag, where you can get a lot of cool swag to show your friends and family at home. So subscribe on Twitch if you want to. It's greatly appreciated, and it will help increase the prize pool to the tournament. And as I said, not only that, you get to get a chance of winning yourself a very, very cool GeoGuessr goodie bag. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty much rounds off everything that we have had to offer for you here today. But fear not if you think that, oh no, I came in late, there's not a lot of GeoGuessr, because there's a lot more GeoGuessr coming your way in just about 4 hours time. I'm not sure if we have a chance to show you what this matchups will be. Here you go. As a matter of fact, we do. We get some Blinky. We get some Radu versus Kunsus. Foul versus Blinky. Oh my lord. There are some good games happening here tonight, Gelotris.
I mean, I could mention so many more games. Also, Deborah versus Blinky.
Yeah,
it is some amazing game. I'm jealous. I'm jealous for the evening casters.
Guys, can we get the other seed instead for casting? Wow, amazing matchups coming in tonight. Amazing games we've had the pleasure of casting today. And in case you're a little bamboozled by time zones and whatnot, the games start in 3 hours and 58 minutes from me saying this right now. So look at your clock. Go. Okay, that should be all you need to do in order to log in. Now you know where to be. Now you know when to be there. So not really a whole lot more to say. And thank you so much for tuning in. And until tonight, play some more GeoGuessr.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup. Denmark. Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings. World-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably. I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.